Good evening and welcome to the Commentary Hub's coverage of this Premier League encounter. It's Chelsea against Arsenal. I'm your alternative host, Russ Vernon, and I am joined by an excellent people. Later, we'll be joined by our match commentator, Jack Essen, who will guide you through the 90 minutes of action. And that will starting on about 10. Kickoff is 10 minutes away on this Wednesday evening. There's other matches taking place this evening. We'll bring you up to date with all of those matches as well as games also going off in the Premier League at Goodison Park as Everton host Leicester, and the Etihad at 8 o'clock as Man City host Brighton, and Newcastle United take on Crystal Palace at St James's Park also at 7:45. We've kick-off in three of our matches almost getting ready to get underway. I've got an excellent pundit joining me today as well. He's none other than my good friend and Arsenal fan, Mike Arneman. And Mike, first of all, how are you doing this evening, mate? You okay?
Yeah, all good, mate. Really well, thank you. How are you?
All good, Mike. All good. I know, Mike. Off air when we were speaking briefly off air, he said you're all good now compared to what you'll be like come about 9:30 this evening. Come the
Yeah,
end of this
100%.
game.
You could tell from the way I was speaking just to you just a minute ago before we actually went live that I'm not optimistic as an Arsenal fan about this game. I don't want to give too much away in regards to the lineup, but there's surprises in the lineup as well that I wouldn't have personally picked or gone with tonight. And it's one of those games. We've just lost the last three against teams that to be fair, no disrespect to Brighton, Southampton, and Crystal Palace. A team like Arsenal should be beaten and getting 9 points from. And that's it really. Like at the end of the day, Chelsea are in decent form. They were very, very unlucky in the Champions League. Obviously, they got through to the FA Cup final as well at the weekend on a game that was covered as well on the channel by Chris and Trev. So Chelsea are in decent form at the minute. Although obviously they went out of Europe, they still got a really good performance in, and actually, we're unlucky to go out in the end in extra time against Real Madrid. So, yeah, there's something about that Chelsea side, and it's one of those ones. It is a bit of a worry, really, with Arsenal at the moment, and this whole top four race. Who wants it? Obviously, Manchester United lost yesterday. They were comprehensively beaten by Liverpool. West Ham are in the mix, Tottenham are in the mix, and Arsenal, even after the last three games, are somehow still in the mix. But we've got this game in hand tonight, and we've just got to turn up. Chelsea are a very, very good side, very tricky side to play against. Of course, there's endless problems over the years as well, and I just think that it's one of those ones where I would have much rather somebody a little bit lesser than Chelsea as the game in hand. Everyone was like, oh, yeah, it's only a few points behind Tottenham, but we've got a game in hand, forgetting that it was Chelsea. And, the mammoth task that it always is going to Stamford Bridge.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. Absolutely. As you say there, it's always a tough ask going to Stamford Bridge for whichever team you follow in the Premier League, whether it's Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Everton, Leicester, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, and Brighton, just to name a few. If you're looking ahead to this game, then, Mike, and just looking at some key battles, some of the key personnel who not involved tonight for Arsenal, who are missing out with injury in Thomas Partey, Kieran Tierney, and Tomiyasu were three players missing out through injury. With those missing out, do you think any of those are a big miss for Arsenal at this moment in time, especially at this point of the season as well?
I think all three are big misses. I think Tomiyasu has come in and hit the ground running. He's had a very good season. Obviously, he's been injured for the last few weeks now. And Cedric's come in, and you really notice there's a bit of a difference. Cedric's trying his hardest, but I just think he's not on the same level as Tomiyasu. Kieran Tierney is a leader. He's very good going forward, and he does his job defensively as well. And I think Thomas Partey, it was very unfortunate for him because actually at the time he got injured, he was playing some really, really good stuff and one of Arsenal's best players or better players alongside the likes of Kieran Tierney as well. So I think all three are big misses really when it comes down to today's game and for the remainder of the season.
Yes, and just I know you mentioned off air about your surprise and in our group chat that we've got on Facebook for the people who work in the chat that you're surprised with one of the selections that Arteta's gone with up front. I was listening to a bit of pre-match interview with Mikel Arteta, and spoke about the reasoning to keep one player in ahead of another. And I'll just mention that, just one mention those two players in particular. You mentioned that you thought with Lacazette being back in the squad, you're surprised he's kept Eddie Nketiah in. It was asked that question ahead of the kick-off, Mike, for the TV coverage, and he
Well,
said,
can I just correct something? Actually, I'm surprised he kept Eddie Nketiah in. Lacazette, for me, he had COVID, which is why he missed out at the weekend. So to be fair, I would have put Gabriel Martinelli in that position. I won't give away whether he's playing at all, but I would have played him through the middle today anyway against this Chelsea side, who he had some joy against a couple of years ago, as you'll all remember when he scored that wonderful goal.
yes, and we'll be handing across to our match commentator Jack Essen shortly, who was asked regarding the Lacazette situation and Nketiah situation, Mike, and he did say that Lacazette had only trained once this week, and that's why he's kept with Nketiah in the starting lineup today, just as the teams are about to come out for this game between Chelsea and Arsenal. Mike, I know you weren't optimistic before the game started. If I were to ask you for a score prediction before we hand over to Jack this afternoon, how do you see this game going, my friend?
It's a tricky one because part of me, it's a head and heart situation. My head's saying we're going to get absolutely battered and Chelsea are going to dominate. My heart's got a little bit of optimism that we can go there and get a draw, which kind of says it all, to be honest. I think the smartest bet is to go in my head and say that it probably will be a comprehensive victory for Chelsea. I'm not expecting Arsenal to pull up trees really in this game at all. But yeah, let's just see whether I'm pleasantly surprised and whether the majority of Arsenal fans are pleasantly surprised with how it all pans out. Because over the years, when it comes down to the bigger games, the Manchester Uniteds, the Manchester Cities, teams like that, Liverpool, etc., Arsenal do tend to shy away from those games. And as much as it hurts, I do think we'll probably get beat today. But yeah, at very least, I want to see some fight, and I just don't want us to get absolutely battered and be like 4-0 down within 20 minutes, and it just be one of those ones where it's difficult to watch the rest of the game if that makes sense to you.
It does, Mike. Yes, it does indeed. And with that time, it's now time for me to hand over to your big match commentator. He's back on the channel after a few weeks away. It's time to hand over to your match commentator, Jack Essen.
Thank you very much, Russ. And these two teams need no introduction to each other. I am your commentator, Jack Hesson, for the Commentary Hub's coverage of Chelsea versus Arsenal this evening. And it is a London derby in store for you this evening as the teams are getting ready to do battle. For Chelsea then, starting lineup, it's Edouard Mendy in goals. It's looks to be a 3-4-3 formation with Cesar Azpilicueta, Andreas Christensen and Malang Sarr making up the back three. Reece James and Marcos Alonso playing in the left wing back and right wing back positions by the looks of it. And N'Golo Kante and Ruben Loftus-Cheek make up the two central midfielders. Ruben Loftus-Cheek in for Kovacic, who was injured in the FA Cup game against Palace at the weekend. And up front for Chelsea then, Timo Werner appears to be on the left-hand side, Mason Mount on the right, and Romelu Lukaku up front for Chelsea. For Arsenal then, Aaron Ramsdale starts and goals. Kieran Tierney is out, so Nuno Tavares comes in at left back. Gabriel Magalhaes and Ben White make up the centre-half pairing, with Rob Holding appearing to play at right back. It's a holding midfield two of Granit Xhaka and Mohamed El Neni, and an attacking midfield three of Emil Smith Rowe on the left wing, Bukayo Saka on the right, Martin Odegaard playing just behind Eddie Nketiah, who keeps his place despite starting in their 1-0 loss to Southampton at the weekend. And substitutes for both teams then, for Chelsea, Kepa is the substitute goalkeeper. Substitutes include Thiago Silva, Trevor Chalobah, Jorginho, Saul, Ross Barkley, Hakim Ziyech, Kai Havertz and Christian Pulisic. And for Arsenal then, Bernd Leno is the substitute goalkeeper, Cedric Swanson, Albert Lokonga, Omari Hutchinson, Alexandre Lacazette back on the bench. He missed out the game against Southampton at the weekend due to COVID. Nicolas Pepe also on the bench with Gabriel Martinelli and Miguel Aziz, as these two teams ready to kick off here. Kick-off is just seconds away. The referee for this match is Jonathan Moss. He's refereed both these teams just once this season, giving out 4 red cards in the Premier League this season as well. Arsenal appear to be kicking off first. The kick-off is just seconds away as players take the knee. And Arsenal wearing their traditional home strip, red with white sleeves. Chelsea in their traditional home strip of all blue with white shorts, socks even. And Arsenal have kicked off attacking to the right-hand side. It goes straight back to Aaron Ramsdale, who lumps the ball all the way across and out of play at the near side for Chelsea. Marcos Alonso to take the throw in. And interesting tactic there from kickoff for Arsenal. They are going to need something to prevent a 4th straight loss, something that has never happened to them in the Premier League era. It has happened to them in the Premier League era back in 1995. It is, however, the first time that they've lost 3 straight games in the Premier League twice in one season. Chelsea kicking off. Edouard Mendy. Nketiah trying to put a bit of pressure on him. Ball's played up towards Lukaku. Chelsea have the ball. Loftus-Cheek to Kante. Kante to Malang Sarr. Gives it to Alonso on the left-hand side. Gives it back to Malang Sarr. And Mason Mount is there in support. Chelsea dominating the early stages. We are just a minute into the game. Chelsea nil, Arsenal nil here on the commentary hub. The ball's played up. Arsenal now have the ball. Played high, out for a throw-in to Chelsea. And don't forget, you can follow the Commentary Hub on Twitter. Twitter handle is @CommentaryLive1. And Mikel Arteta, as I said, looking to try and pick up Arsenal's form at the moment after 3 disappointing defeats in a row, trying to stop that 4th defeat in a row. For Chelsea then, they are in particularly better form, coming off the back of booking their place in the FA Cup final against Crystal Palace at the weekend. Winning by 2-0. Goals by Mason Mount and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Got them into the FA Cup final. Chelsea on the ball at the moment. Mason Mount even on the left-hand side. Back to Christensen. Chelsea just trying to dominate the early stages of the game. I said they are the team on a better form, but particularly when it comes to the home form, they've struggled a bit more this season, just won 7 games. N'Golo Kante has the ball now. Mason Mount towards Timo Werner. Well defended by Holding, not cleared by Odegaard. It hits off Kante. Kante to Mason Mount to Timo Werner. Chelsea are going to play it back. Malang Sarr now has the ball. They're going to play it back again. N'Golo Kante, the engine in the midfield for Chelsea, plays it outright, and it appears there's a foul there by Emile Smith-Rowe, who has came into form this season. Arsenal's joint top goal scorer with 9 goals, along with Bukayo Saka on the right-hand side for Arsenal. 2 players just 20 and 21 years old. Free kick to Chelsea on the edge of the box. Reece James to deliver that in. It goes high across, and Ramsdale comes towards it. Can't get a good grip of it, and is out for a corner to Chelsea. First corner of the game, and first real attempt in the game. A good ball in from Reece James. And Ramsdale not sure what to do with that, so he comes out, and he's a bit of a no man's land. It's out for a corner. Mount plays across the first man, played across the face of goal. Marcos Alonso takes a shot, hits off the side netting. That's a great chance for Chelsea. Arsenal under a bit of pressure there. Mason Mount's cross to the first man, headed back. Kante can't get control of it. It falls gratefully to Marcos Alonso and just too many bodies in the way. I think it might have taken a deflection, and Arsenal have been let off there. Arsenal, of course, wearing black armbands in memory of former Chief Scout Steve Rowley, who passed away at the weekend. The ball's in for Chelsea, and that almost went straight in. Ramsdale had to try and get a glove to that, and he did, and it's going to launch Arsenal potentially into a counter-attack. Saka on the ball. He's got Nketiah on the right-hand side, and just waste time on the ball there. Granit Xhaka there to recover. Xhaka to Emil Smith-Rowe. Smith-Rowe to Tavares. Tavares dispossessed. Goes back to Marcos Alonso. Tries to play the ball long towards Timo Werner. And the ball hits off of Holding's arm. Chelsea protest and they get the foul. Another foul for Chelsea. Another set piece potentially to get into the box. Looking back at that one there from Mason Mount. It's going all the way into the back of the net, curling in. Aaron Ramsdale Aaron Ramsdale was not the one who got to it. It was Gabriel Magalhaes who was the one who headed it off the line to prevent what would have been a quite incredible goal for Chelsea to open the lead here. And it has been all Chelsea since the start of this game, 5 minutes in. Chelsea, as I said, on the better form at the moment. They have struggled perhaps more from home this season, just won 7 of their 14 home games. Ranked 8th in the league in terms of home form. However, Arsenal have ranked 8th in the league in terms of away form. Chelsea have the ball at the moment, played forward. Werner tries to get the ball towards Mason Mount, well intercepted. Elneny holds on the ball. Mason Mount comes in behind him and fills him. Arsenal have a free kick just over the halfway line. And a goal to tell you about it does appear that 6 minutes in, and the other games kicking off. Of course, the other games: Everton, Leicester, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Man City, Brighton, and Leicester are winning their game 1-0. An early goal for struggling against a struggling Everton side at the moment. But back to the game at hand here. Great ball from Xhaka from the free kick, played across the face of goal, and Edouard Mendy with the kick save there to clear it away. Chelsea are going to try and launch a counter attack now. Werner couldn't get the ball moving, and it hits off of Emil Smith-Rowe, and that's an excellent opportunity for Arsenal there. Great little pass from Xhaka, played across the face of goal, and Mendy just sticks out his foot to make the save, the clearance away. Arsenal have the ball again now. It's Mohamed Elneny. Ben White sprinting forward, still going with the ball. Dispossessed, Marcos Alonso there to recover. Malang Sarr to Kante back to Christensen, who plays it all the way back to Edouard Mendy, and then back to Kante pushing forward now, trying to skip past Nketiah to Elneny, plays the ball past Elneny towards Mason Mount, who's got Azpilicueta on the right hand side, tries to play it to Werner in the middle. Werner tries to play it back to him, and it just broke up the play there. Chelsea are going to try again. Mason Mount in towards Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and Elneny hits that one out for a corner again to Chelsea. As I said, it's another corner for Chelsea in this game. The third corner of the game, just 7 minutes in. And they have threatened from both corners that they've had so far. Taken by Mason Mount. Mount to take this one again. Is it another good corner in? It goes straight towards Anders Christensen, who tries to head it across to somebody, and it just reaches nobody. The ball goes back to Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and it's given as a foul towards Arsenal by the referee, Jonathan Moss. Pierre Lukaku may have been in an offside position from when Ruben Loftus-Cheek tried to head the ball towards him, resulting in that free kick. And as for both of these teams this season, they've fared different fortunes. Chelsea looking to try and just secure that top 4 place. A win today would definitely do that. But for Arsenal, if they want to try and get that top 4 spot, they really do need a win today with a game against Manchester United, their fellow top 4 fighters trying to get that illustrious Champions League spot. They play them next in the Premier League. Arsenal do have options on the bench if they need to in this game with, as I said, Alexandre Lacazette, 4 goals, 7 assists this season. As I said, he was out with COVID for their loss to Southampton on Saturday. And Chelsea have the ball now. Marcos Alonso. Alonso with the throw in towards Malang Sarr. Bukayo Saka putting pressure on him. Forces the ball back towards Andreas Christensen, who again forces it all the way back to Edouard Mendy. Edouard Mendy going to try and play it long in the halfway line towards Lukaku, just ahead of Lukaku, who would have attempted to flick that on towards Werner. But the ball back with Arsenal now. It's a stray pass, and it's Romelu Lukaku getting on the end of that stray pass, and he tries to play it across the goal. He did have Werner as an option there, and it looked as if he tried to go for the shot. Chelsea quick to react to the loose ball. Quick play from Ruben Loftus-Cheek to get the ball towards Lukaku. Lukaku tries to take the shot. He maybe should have looked up and looked for Timo Werner across the face of goal, who, if they got the ball to him, may have had a tap in, but it drizzles wide towards Ramsdale's right-hand side. And here come Arsenal on the ball now. Granit Xhaka. Xhaka towards Emil Smith-Rowe. Back to Xhaka. Xhaka looking for his options. He plays it all the way across towards Odegaard, but it's just too much. Lands gratefully to Bukayo Saka on the right-hand side and switches the play. Saka plays to Odegaard under a bit of pressure. Plays it back. Back to Holding, who plays it straight towards Romelu Lukaku. A lazy pass there from Rob Holding. And Werner has the ball now. Mason Mount. Mount towards Ruben Loftus-Cheek, looking for his options. Plays it back to Kante. And good pressing play from Nketiah there towards Kante. Chelsea have the ball at the near side, closest to the dugouts. Marcos Alonso throws the ball all the way towards Romelu Lukaku. Lukaku gets there. He's got Mount in support. Mount to Alonso, back to Lukaku, who's playing on the left-hand side. And Lukaku tries to get it back towards Marcos Alonso, well intercepted by El Neni. And Ben White has the ball now, under a bit of pressure. The ball is kicked out. And it's going to be a Chelsea throw-in. Almost at the attacking third for them. And this game, really, it has been mostly Chelsea so far in terms of chances. Arsenal did have that good opportunity with the ball from Xhaka. Good ball in, broke the play, cross face of goal, forcing Mendy into that save just a couple of minutes ago. Chelsea now have the ball almost in the corner, under a lot of pressure. Mason Mount can't do much with it. Gives the ball to the Arsenal player, cleared away as far as Reece James. Reece James to Ruben Loftus-Cheek on the turn. Well tackled by Smith-Rowe. Going to try and launch Arsenal into a counter-attack. The ball played towards Nketiah. Into Christensen. Christensen, that's a poor clearance. And Nketiah, he's in on goal, bound in on goal. It's in the back of the net. Eddie Nketiah with the goal. Lazy defending from Chelsea. And Arsenal find themselves in the lead here at Stamford Bridge. You expect better from defenders like Andreas Christensen in that situation, but Eddie Nketiah still had a lot to do there. The ball played up. He just chases for Eddie Nketiah, puts the pressure on Christensen. Christensen tries to get it back to Mendy, but he's just too far away to do that. And he botches his pass back. As a result of that, Eddie Nketiah is left bearing down on goal. And again, he's still got a lot to do to get there. But it's a great finish towards Edouard Mendy's right-hand side. And that is a massive goal here at Stamford Bridge. After a lot of relentless Chelsea pressure in the early stages, a couple of great chances from corners, Arsenal are the ones who find themselves 1-0 up here. Looking to now defend the lead. It's his first Premier League goal of the season, Eddie Nketiah. And he took that very, very well. We kick off again here. Chelsea have the ball. How are they going to respond to going 1-0 down? I said they are looking at trying to get that win to try and secure the top 4 spot this season. They don't have good memories of the last time they did play here, where they did lose 4-1 to Brentford previously. Before that, they did lose 3-1 in the Champions League to Real Madrid. So the home form at the moment hasn't been particularly impressive, and that's maybe coming to fruition today. However, we are 14 minutes gone here on the commentary hub. It's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. Eddie Nketiah with the goal. Eddie Nketiah, I said, in for the regular striker Lacazette, who was out during the weekend. He comes in and he delivers a derby goal, perhaps when they need it most. And again, he's putting pressure on Christensen. Every time the ball comes back to Christensen now, Eddie Nketiah is quick to him. And the ball is now out for an Arsenal throw-in. And a great quick counter-attack. As I said, Christensen has to do better in that situation. It does appear that Chelsea have switched the play. Perhaps it did appear that Azpilicueta is playing a bit further forward than Reece James now, compared to the other way around. Azpilicueta pushing forward on that right-hand side. And Chelsea on the ball now. Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Cheek back to Malang Sarr. Sarr to Marcos Alonso. Alonso under a bit of pressure now by Ben White. Saka trying to put pressure on Sarr. And Nketiah trying to put pressure on Christensen again. Seems to be a recurring theme here. Chelsea trying to pass it along the back. And Arsenal playing a high press that's working well for them at the moment. Just 29% of the possession so far, Arsenal, when they managed to get themselves a goal. First shot on target as well. And just updates on the other games around the Premier League. Everton 0, Arsenal 1, 60 minutes gone. Newcastle, Crystal Palace is nothing each. And Manchester City versus Brighton has just kicked off. That is nothing each at the moment. Chelsea on the ball. Edouard Mendy's poor clearance towards El Neni. Chelsea pick up the ball again, however. Marcos Alonso to Timo Werner. Werner tries to cut inside, cut across Holding. Plays the ball in the middle to Ruben Loftus-Cheek towards Lukaku. Lukaku, great pass to Mason Mount. Well cleared by Gabriel. And Arsenal, are they going to try and launch a counter-attack now? Because Bukayo Saka is on the right-hand side. He's got Elneny in support. Elneny to Nketiah. Nketiah, a bit of play there. Ultimately lost him with the ball. Werner's got the ball now. Plays it across and it's deflected. And into the back of the net. Chelsea are back in the game. And it's the German Timo Werner with the goal. And what an unlikely goal there. Arsenal will be extremely disappointed with themselves, losing the ball cheaply in possession there from what looked like a potential counter-attack. Timo Werner, quick to respond to that, cuts inside and gets his shot away. Again, good pressing from Ruben Loftus-Cheek to get the ball to Werner. Werner just cuts inside, appears to deflect off of Ben White. Chelsea find themselves back in this game. This could be a potential goal fest here. 17 minutes gone. We have 2 goals. Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. And that is the perfect response that Chelsea would have wanted there. Bit of luck with that deflection. But lazy play from Arsenal resulted in that. And now Arsenal have the ball now. Emile Smith-Rowe in the box. Tackled well by Reece James. Reece James plays the ball towards Azpilicueta. Ruben Loftus-Cheek back to Azpilicueta. And Timo Werner, just his 4th goal of the Premier League season. However, it is his 4th in his last 4 games. A player who they signed last season, who's came under much criticism. A player who really under at Red Bull Leipzig, RB Leipzig, looked to be an incredible signing for them at the time. Has struggled to find his form in the team, but recently he has been incredible. And Chelsea have a shot now. Mason Mount, his shot sizzles wide to the left-hand side. Chelsea just getting the opportunities back in the game, making their possession count. Again, Timo Werner on that left-hand side gets a decent ball in towards Marcos Alonso. Alonso sets up Mason Mount for the shot, and Mason Mount's shot just sizzles wide. One of those ones, if it's about 2 yards to the left, it's maybe going in, but this time it's wide. A good opportunity though for Chelsea. They're getting back into this game. They are back into this game, a game that they might have expected to have won, to have potentially won comfortably. Still, however, 70 minutes to go here, and Chelsea do have the ball at the moment. They have the momentum after the goal. Ruben Loftus-Cheek again running things in the midfield to Marcos Alonso. Alonso to Mason Mount, back to Malang Sarr. Sarr to Andreas Christensen. Christensen to Malang Sarr. Sarr to Marcos Alonso. Malang Sarr all the way back towards Edouard Mendy. He, rather unsurprisingly, misses out Christensen in that particular piece of play. Mendy plays it up towards Lukaku. Again, tries to play it towards Lukaku, just overhits it. Can't find his head. Chelsea still have the ball at the moment. Kante back to Christensen. Christensen this time gets the ball to Mendy comfortably. Edouard Mendy perhaps being a bit frustrated about how play is going at the moment, as the ball keeps coming back towards him. And Malang Sarr now, Chelsea just playing it across the back. So keeping possession, keeping control of the game so far. And Marcos Alonso plays it towards Romelu Lukaku. Ramsdale was out to meet him. And Lukaku and Ramsdale out there for the 50-50. Ramsdale's the winner. Out for a throw-in to Chelsea. Chelsea still have the ball at the moment. Mason Mount tries a bit of trickery, but plays it back to Malang Sarr. Sarr towards Christensen. Christensen to Reece James. James to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta tries to find Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who's playing high on that right-hand side, but his pass is out for a throw-in to Arsenal. And really, at this moment in time, it's looking like it's going to be a good game of football. Hopefully, the goal fest does continue here. Say 21 minutes going here in the commentary hub. It's Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. Arsenal even opening the scoring. Goal from Eddie Nketiah from Andreas Christensen's mistake, and then Werner's deflected effort found its way into the back of the net just minutes later to give Chelsea what could potentially be an important equaliser. There's a foul there from Mason Mount on Tavares. Tavares down at the moment, and looking at that, Mason Mount, his studs do go into Tavares' leg. One of those ones that they potentially would have a look at on VAR. But the play carries on here. Jonathan Moss says no. Arsenal have the throw-in with Tavares. Tavares looking for his options with the throw. Plays it high up the park towards Emile Smith-Rowe, as Azpilicueta is there to defend. Cleared as far as Ben White. Ben White tries to head it back towards Ramsdale. Gets the header away. And now Ben White on the right-hand side plays the ball into Eddie Nketiah. Looking for his options. He's got Ben White again. Ben White all the way back to Holding. Holding to Ramsdale. Ramsdale to Gabriel. Gabriel finds Emile Smith-Rowe. And again, Chelsea put a bit of pressure on those left and those right-hand sides when Arsenal tried to play the ball. That's what ultimately resulted in the Chelsea goal. But Arsenal broke through the pressure at the moment. Odegaard towards Bukayo Saka. Saka to try and take on Marcos Alonso on the right-hand side. He gets past. He gets a better Marcos Alonso. He gets him on in towards Nketiah. And has deflected, appeared to be deflected effort, has went wide just to the left. It sizzled past. It looked like a great opportunity there from Odegaard, breaking away past Kante. And then Saka even up towards Marcos Alonso. Gets a better of him excellently there. Plays it towards Nketiah. It's just a tight enough angle. Doesn't take any deflection. Out for a goal kick. And again, another good opportunity there for the Arsenal to try and get back to their lead that they got. Short-lived, really, after Chelsea managed to quickly equalise. They do have the ball at the moment, and a lot of space here. Martin Odegaard, he's got Saka to his right. Saka going to try and take on Alonso again, and he hits it across towards Nketiah, and it's Tavares at the left-hand side. He tries to play it back across the goal. Nobody's there. The cross was poor, and it was given as an offside anyway. So Chelsea have the ball with the full 24 minutes gone. Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. And if you haven't yet, why not visit our Facebook page? The best way to follow the Commentary Hub. Go to facebook.com/the Commentary Hub / that is the Commentary Hub for the latest updates. And Chelsea have the ball. Edouard Mendy to take this free kick following the offside decision. Again up towards Lukaku, and again just ahead of Lukaku. Arsenal have the ball. Played up towards Marcus Alonso. Chelsea in possession now. Kante back to Reece James under a bit of pressure. Gives it to Christensen. Christensen to Malang Sarr. Who, guess who he's going to play that back to? Back to Edouard Mendy. Mendy now looking for his options. He has his three defenders in support with N'Golo Kante just above. Plays it long towards Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who has impressed so far for Chelsea, as he did at the weekend. And Arsenal have the ball now. Rob Holding plays it towards Ben White. Ben White playing predominantly on the right-hand side. And Ramsdale to El Neni. Chelsea putting a bit of pressure on them yet again on that right-hand side. And yet again, Ben White dispossessed towards Marcus Alonso to Timo Werner, who tries to cut inside. Rob Holding's there. And the ball was almost played towards Romelu Lukaku, but was eventually well dealt with. And Arsenal are now going to launch a counter-attack. It's Bukayo Saka on the ball now. This time he's taking on Malang Sarr, gets it towards Odegaard, who plays it in. It's in the back of the net. Emil Smith-Rowe. What a goal. What a lovely, lovely finish from Emil Smith-Rowe. And what a great counter-attack from Arsenal. Arsenal find themselves 2-1 up now here at Stamford Bridge. And that was a blistering counter-attack from what looked to be a potentially dangerous attack for Chelsea. Dealt with in the end. And then Arsenal burst forward from their own box. And it's Emil Smith-Rowe's 10th goal of the season. This all comes from Werner on the other end of the park. Rob Holding dealing with it. Xhaka dealing with Lukaku trying to get the ball. Gets it past Marcus Alonso. Excellently drives forward towards Martin Odegaard. Odegaard gives it to Saka, who once again has so much space down that right-hand side. Saka cuts into Martin Odegaard again. And then there's Emil Smith-Rowe from the edge of the box. And what a lovely finish that is from the edge of the box. From around about 18 yards out, he passes that into the back of the net. And Chelsea find themselves a goal down yet again in this game. We're 27 minutes in. Chelsea 1, Arsenal 2. Emil Smith-Rowe with the goal this time. Chelsea, how are they going to respond this time? It was a bit of luck with that deflection last time that got them their goal. And what they're going to need this time to try and get back into this game. Granit Xhaka deals well with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, tries to play the ball towards Tavares. It's intercepted by Reece James. Chelsea pushing forward now. Alonso's got space on the left-hand side. Mason Mount's on the ball at the moment. The ball goes to Alonso. He tries to take on Ben White. El Neni's there excellently to intercept. And he's going to break Bukayo Saka away for an attack. Saka gives it straight to N'Golo Kante. And Chelsea's going to calm things down a bit on this left-hand side with Marcus Alonso. And again, looking at that chance there, it was Arsenal playing it dangerously on the right-hand side. Chelsea almost, again, capitalising on that loose bit of play. But Arsenal done well to recover from that. Granit Xhaka done excellently to push and drive forward to get the ball towards Odegaard. And from there, as soon as it goes to Bukayo Saka, the play just keeps moving forward from there. And that is a great finish from Emil Smith-Rowe, his 10th goal of the season. Chelsea at this moment in time have a corner, however. As we've seen, they've been dangerous from corners so far. The 4th corner of the game. A bit pushing in the box there. Mason Mount to deliver. This time, not quite good enough. It falls to Tavares. Eddie Nketiah even. Well tackled by Christensen. The ball's played in towards Werner. And the loose header away goes to Mason Mount. Mason Mount back to Marcus Alonso. Alonso all the way back to Kante. Chelsea still keeping the momentum of the attack going at the moment. Malang Sarr to Reece James. Back to Malang Sarr. Towards Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Cheek to Kante. Kante there on the ball. He's got Malang Sarr in support. Again, looking for his options at the moment. Chelsea just struggling to find any forward options. Malang Sarr looking a bit frustrated there, but he has Mason Mount on the left, who is immediately under a lot of pressure, has to get the ball back to Malang Sarr. Arsenal's pressing game really proving to be dangerous to Chelsea at the moment. And Arsenal trying to deal with the clearance there. Goes out for a throw-in to Chelsea. As I said, Chelsea have had the vast majority of the ball in this game so far. But it's Arsenal who find themselves 2-1 up here. Goals from Emil Smith-Rowe and Eddie Nketiah give them the lead so far, and what would be a massive, massive win for Arsenal off the back of 3 straight losses in the Premier League. 3-0 to Crystal Palace, of course. 2-1 to Brighton at home, and then that loss to Southampton. 1-0 at the weekend. They don't want to lose 4 straight games since the first time since 1995. And at this moment in time, they might not have to worry about that too much, but there is definitely still a lot of time to play and a lot more goals to come. Throw in to Chelsea. Dangerous position in the attacking third. Marcus Alonso to take. Looking for his options. Timo Werner is there. Back to Marcus Alonso. Alonso dispossessed. Chelsea still have the ball at the moment. Mason Mount delivers the ball in, and it's another goal! And it's the captain, Cesar Azpilicueta, who fires that in to the back of the net. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. Half an hour played here. Absolutely crazy what is going on here. It's attack after attack, and that's another one for Chelsea. 2 each. Marcus Alonso, there's some great play. Chelsea still trying to keep pushing forward with the ball there. Mason Mount, that's an incredible delivery in, and Azpilicueta is there, right place, right time, with a great left-footed finish into the back of the net as he darts towards the box, completely catches Arsenal out there. Arsenal thought they had the ball back from the throw-in. There's a bit of back and forth there. Chelsea managed to come away with the ball with Mason Mount, and he has a clear cross in towards the captain and the veteran Cesar Azpilicueta. It's Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2 here. 32 minutes played here in London. And they're going to potentially take a look at something here. The play has stopped, or are they? No, they definitely aren't. It's kick-off, and Arsenal have the ball at the moment. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. Marcus Alonso with the ball. Played up towards Timo Werner. Werner as far as Kante. Kante's clearance towards Elneny. Gives the ball to Eddie Nketiah, whose shot just goes wide of Edouard Mendy. Another shot from range for Arsenal. And that was almost the 3rd goal of the game. And this really is incredible here. It's back and forth football at the moment. And that's an excellent effort from Eddie Nketiah. Unlucky to hit the left-hand side, Edouard Mendy's left-hand side. Arsenal have the ball now. Nene, a great pass across towards Smith-Rowe. Smith-Rowe to Xhaka, to Tavares. Tavares advances forward in the box, and he plays a great ball across. Nobody's there on the end of it. Great ball across there from Tavares. Great bit of play there from Arsenal. That play from Elneny to Smith-Rowe to Xhaka to get Tavares a space on the left-hand side to push forward. And his ball across the face of goal. Just nobody there to get on the end of it that time. And updates then from the other games in the Premier League. Newcastle find themselves 1-0 up against Crystal Palace. Miguel Almiron with the goal. That game It's 32 minutes in. 35 minutes at the moment. The goal was on. 32 minutes. Chelsea have the ball on the halfway line. And Reece James with the ball towards Malang Sarr. Sarr towards Marcos Alonso. Alonso pushes forward. Pushes forward towards Lukaku, who's on the left-hand side. Well defended. He still has the ball at the moment. Breaks towards Saka. Saka tries to play a long ball towards Nketiah. Andreas Christensen is there this time, but Nketiah comes in behind him and dispossesses. And Nketiah skips past him now. Marcos Alonso there to help with the recovery. Gets it to Werner, tackled well by Ben White. Tackles flying in at the moment. Neither team can get good grip of the ball at the moment. Pressure as soon as a player has the ball from both sides. Arsenal have the throw in at the moment. It's Ben White in Chelsea's half. Gets it to Odegaard. Odegaard tries to back to Ben White. No options in the middle. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is there to recover. Loftus-Cheek driving forward. Plays it back to the goal scorer, Azpilicueta, who plays it all the way back to Reece James. James to Christensen, to Malang Sarr. Sarr to Marcos Alonso. Alonso to Malang Sarr. Tries to play the ball across. Excellent pass to switch the play there towards Azpilicueta and get the attack going for Chelsea. Mason Mount in the midfield. Takes control of the ball. Back to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta to Reece James. Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Chelsea looking for their options forward at the moment. But he can't find any options. Reece James, so he goes all the way back to Malang Sarr. Sarr switches the play to the left-hand side with Marcos Alonso. Marcos Alonso back to Malang Sarr now. Malang Sarr back to Reece James. Switching it to the right-hand side for Chelsea now. And the ball switched now back to the left with Marcos Alonso. Alonso trying to push forward. Back again to Malang Sarr. Malang Sarr to Timo Werner. Tries to cut inside again like he did for that early goal. Couldn't find the space. Chelsea just playing the ball across the back at the moment. Reece James under a bit of pressure from Odegaard. Well dealt with. To Malang Sarr to Andreas Christensen. Christensen to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta plays a forward pass to Mason Mount, who does well in the turn, tries to get past Tavares. Well tackled by Tavares to Saka. Saka to Odegaard. This launches Arsenal into another counter-attack. It's Nketiah now. Nketiah taking on Andreas Christensen. Doesn't find the space, so goes back to the Tavares in support. Tavares going to play the ball back. Arsenal going to play with the ball for a bit. Try and get control of some possession here. Xhaka to Mohamed Elneny. Elneny to Bob Holding. Holding back to Elneny. Elneny looking to try and play the ball forward. He's got Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe breaks away with the ball now. And Odegaard tries to get possession in the middle of the park. Timo Werner is there to pick up the possession. Werner skips past Xhaka. Xhaka towards Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta switches the play towards Marcos Alonso. And Marcos Alonso is in space for the shot. And he skies it into the second tier of the left-hand side of Stamford Bridge. That's an excellent opportunity there. Marcos Alonso in so much space. And he does have to do better there. It's a great bit of play. And again, Azpilicueta making the play happen, the veteran. A great sweeping ball across. What an assist that would have been if Alonso was there to finish. It was a tight angle and a difficult chance for Alonso. Didn't have really any other options but to opt for the shot. So 38 minutes gone here. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It's been a whirlwind first half so far on the commentary hub. And commentary services would like to thank our broadcast partners for the season. JDAC Football, GB Sports and Storm FM. Ramsdale's goal kick goes straight towards, clearance goes straight towards Kante. Kante gets the ball to Azpilicueta, to Malang Sarr. Malang Sarr to Timo Werner. Tries to release Marcos Alonso, but Ben White is there to meet him. And Malang Sarr, again, looking for his options. He's a lot of the ball today. Timo Werner. Werner to Alonso. Alonso and Werner proving difficult for Arsenal to handle on that left-hand side. It's a foul to Arsenal. Marcos Alonso tackling Bukayo Saka. And a bit of friendly competition within the Arsenal ranks. Smith Rowe's 10th goal of the season. He becomes Arsenal's top goal scorer. Bukayo Saka is now second. He's got 9 goals, so he'll be looking to potentially try and level the score with the rest of the first half to go and 45 minutes of the second half. And commentary services would like to thank our official streaming partners for this season. Melon, visit them on their website, www.melonapp.com. Arsenal on the ball now. Great forward pass from Mohamed Elneny towards Nketiah. Nketiah tries to play the ball forward, and it's intercepted out for a throw into Arsenal. In a dangerous position here for Arsenal. They're in Chelsea's attacking third. And what started as what looked like a nice evening here at Stamford Bridge, looking a bit windy now. Arsenal have the ball. Mohamed Elneny looking for his options. He's got Odegaard for the sideward pass. Plays it back towards Ben White to Elneny. Back to Odegaard on the right-hand side. Plays it to Nketiah, who's dropped deep. Back to Odegaard to Saka now. Saka on Alonso once again. It's been an interesting battle today. Back to Odegaard, to Smith Rowe, to Xhaka. He's going to shape up for the shot, deflected off of Azpilicueta as far as Tavares. Tavares' cross also deflects across Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta down on the ground now, holding his head. The referee has to stop the play. Good defending from Azpilicueta on both parts there to prevent Arsenal from another opportunity and on goal. And he's looking a bit worse for wear after that hit. It appears to be to the head from Tavares' cross. And Mikel Arteta looking to try and push Arsenal into the top 4. Despite their poor form recently, they are still well within the hunt, and especially a win today against Chelsea would definitely put them into the top 4 contention and put the pressure on Tottenham in 4th place. Ben White on the ball now. White to Odegaard, tries to skip past Kante. Kante gets the ball, but the loose ball falls to Arsenal with Nketiah, who's fouled. It's going to be a free kick to Arsenal. Nketiah still on the ground at the moment. Could be a free kick in a dangerous position for Arsenal to try and capitalise here. Nketiah, however, still down on the ground. That ball plays from Kante, and Malang Sarr is the one who fouls him. Attempts to get the ball, doesn't get there, gets the man. However, he's up now and he's looking fine, Eddie Nketiah, so no need for any help there. Arsenal have the ball at the moment. Mohamed Elneny to take the free kick. Clever free kick there, all the way back towards Tavares. However, he's intercepted by Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who tries to launch the ball towards Timo Werner. It's dealt with well by the Arsenal defence, and what could be a dangerous attack. Arsenal now on the break now. Tavares back to Nketiah. Nketiah just can't get the pass away towards Odegaard, who was in the space. But the ball does drop to Granit Xhaka, who now gets the ball to Martin Odegaard. And he's got options here. He's got Saka on the right-hand side. Saka on Alonso once again. Saka tries to work some magic. Plays it across the goal. Not sure if that was a cross or a shot, but regardless, it's out for a goal kick to Chelsea. And again, Arsenal looking dangerous, particularly from that right-hand side with Bukayo Saka. Chelsea now with the goal kick. Arsenal, really, the expectations for a lot of Arsenal supporters before this game wasn't particularly high, so I think they'll be feeling a lot happier with this than what perhaps the Chelsea fans would, who perhaps maybe expected a better performance from their team today. Chelsea, of course, were 17-20 on to win this game compared to 10-3 for Arsenal to win this before the game. Chelsea clear favourites there going into this. But it doesn't always work like that in football. Odegaard on the ball now. A good touch from Odegaard. It's played towards Ben White. Ben White to Saka. Saka towards Odegaard. Odegaard to Emil Smith-Rowe, who weaves and ducks and weaves past two Chelsea defenders, and he sees a bit of daylight to get the shot away, and it just goes wide. He does get the space there, Emil Smith-Rowe. He does excellently with his feet there to take it past three Chelsea defenders in the box, and his shot is just wide. What a goal that would have been if Emil Smith-Rowe had managed to get that on target and get that in the back of the net. Coming up to 45 minutes here. Chelsea on the ball. Played all the way back to Arsenal. Arsenal now played all the way forward. The ball's in the air at the moment. Arsenal now have it with Tavares. Tavares to Xhaka. Xhaka towards Tavares. It goes towards Reece James. Reece James to Edouard Mendy, whose kick goes all the way out to the right-hand side. A dangerous position here for Arsenal at the throw-in. 2 minutes of added time. We're about 20 seconds in to the 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half here at Stamford Bridge. Tavares to Granit Xhaka. Xhaka to Tavares. Well intercepted by Azpilicueta. It's going to be thrown in a same position for Tavares to take. And he's looking for his options. Arsenal, are they going to try and get a goal before half-time to make this an even crazier half of football than what it has been so far? Martin Odegaard to Tavares. All the way back to Bukayo Saka. All the way forward to Bukayo Saka. Saka now breaks through to Ben White, who tries to play it across the face of goal. And it was intercepted by Kante. Now it's a free kick to Chelsea in the box, in their own box, with about 45 seconds left to play here. And definitely Thomas Tuchel will be perhaps the more disappointed of the two managers going into the break. Chelsea on the better form at the moment, perhaps expected to get that win. They don't want to put any pressure on themselves in this top four fight, which they find themselves away from at the moment. But with 8 games to go in the season, that definitely could all change at any point. Chelsea have the ball now. It's Timo Werner. Werner towards Mason Mount. Mason Mount tries to play a cross. Deflected. Goes as far as Reece James. Reece James to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta to Reece James. Reece James to Christensen. Christensen to Malang Sarr. And that is half-time here at Stamford Bridge. And well, struggling to catch my breath here after that incredible first half of football. Things got started when Christensen's loose pass back to Edouard Mendy left Eddie Nketiah an opportunity in on goal for his first Premier League goal of the season, one which he took 13 minutes in, making it 1-0 to Arsenal. Then just minutes later in the 17th minute, Timo Werner cuts inside for a deflected effort of Gabriel to make it 1 each. 27 minutes in, just 10 minutes later, Emil Smith-Rowe's pass from 18 yards into the back of the net. A lovely finish. Gave Arsenal the advantage once again. And then again, just 5 minutes later, Cesar Azpilicueta getting on the end of a Mason Mount cross to make it 2 each. Hopefully, we get just as many goals, if not more, in the second half. Half-time, Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. And back to you, Russ.
Thank you very much. There, Jack. We'll be back with Jack in plenty of time for the second half. It's been a fantastic game so far. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2 at the break, and we'll get the thoughts of Mike Orman very, very shortly. Some half-time scores to tell you in the other matches that kicked off. There's 7:45, where it is at the break at Goodison Park. Everton 0, Leicester City 1, thanks to the goal from Harvey Barnes just on 5 minutes into the game, and then Leicester have had more chances to double their lead. Everton went close just before half time as well, from what I have been reading. At the break, it is Everton 0, Leicester City 1, and half time in the game at St James's Park to tell you about it is Newcastle United 1, Crystal Palace 0. And from what I have been reading as well, what I can tell you is make sure you check out the goal from Miguel Almiron, which put Crystal Palace a goal behind at the break. That was on 32 minutes. That was the same time as the goal from Cesar Azpilicueta levelled things for a second time in the game. What an enthralling first half it has been in the game at Stamford Bridge. Arsenal to the lead on 30 minutes through, who are you going to call? He's not Ghostbusters, he's Eddie Nketiah, and he's going to put Arsenal into the lead on 13 minutes. Then on 17 minutes, Timo Werner levelled the scores at Stamford Bridge. 10 minutes later, and it was a goal from Arsenal's number 10, Emile Smith-Rowe, capped off a fantastic move. And then on 32 minutes, Chelsea skipper Cesar Azpilicueta made it 2 each. So, some great games so far. In the other Premier League match taking place this evening, to tell you about, in the game at the Etihad Stadium, where Manchester City are taking on Brighton this evening. I can tell you, 37 minutes gone in that game, and it is Man City 0, Brighton 0. We'll go through some other scores again in a few minutes or so, and we'll get the thoughts of Mike Orneman in a second. Let's just have a look at some other matches taking place today in French Ligue 1 action. We finished Bordeaux 2, Saint Etienne 2, Lorient 1, Metz 0, Monaco 1, Nice 0, Reims 2, Lille 1, 10-man Troyes 0, 10-man Clermont 1. Latest scores to tell you about is Angers 0, PSG 1, Brest 1, Lyon 0, Lens 1, Montpellier 0, Marseille 0, Nantes 1, Strasbourg 1, Rennes 0. In the German DFB Pokal, RB Leipzig 0, Union Berlin 1. In Italian Serie A, finished Udinese 0, Salernitana 1. In the Spanish La Liga, we finished Atletico Madrid 0, Granada 0, is Celta Vigo 0, Getafe 2, with 9 minutes to go. And after 8 minutes, it's Osasuna 0, Real Madrid 0. This evening, there's some other matches taking place, which we'll keep you up to date with come the end of the evening. Let's bring in your pundit this evening, an Arsenal fan, Mike Orneman. And Mike has been, from what I've been reading, very impressed with what Arsenal have been doing tonight. And I think he believes, from what I've been reading, that Arsenal could potentially be leading this game. And Mike, before we go on to whether Arsenal should be leading this game, what about second goal from Emile Smith-Rowe? That was a wonderful teamwork goal and a wonderful finish from Arsenal's number 10 as well, where he just came in and just placed it into the bottom corner beyond Edouard Mendy. But poor defending from Arsenal as well, Mike.
Yeah, I think for that Smith-Rowe goal, I think Arsenal played some really good stuff, as you were saying. You know, the team build-up was lovely to see, going back years and years, really, to Arsenal of old. And then a lovely finish from Emile Smith-Rowe. He literally just places it into the corner, just basically passes it into the corner there, and Mendy has absolutely no chance. So, I thought Smith Rowe had a very good first half. I think he's looked lively. He's looked very bright. I think Nketiah's had a very good first half as well. He's looked, he took his goal very, very well. He didn't take it like somebody who's only scored one Premier League goal this season. Anyway, that's for sure. And I thought he's led the line really well. And obviously, I was a bit critical before the game, obviously, about Nketiah coming into the lineup or keeping his place in the lineup, should I say? Sorry, but I think he's actually led the line really well, got himself a goal, and looked really, really, really dangerous and really good. A little bit suspect on the first goal for Granit Xhaka in my eyes. I think he turned his back on that one when he, if Arsenal wanted to hold on to the lead a little bit there, then, Granit Xhaka in that position can't turn his back. The second goal, personally, I think Ben White's mustered off the ball pretty easily. Is it a foul? Is it not a foul? At the time, I thought it was. Having watched it back a second or third time, it doesn't really look like there's much in it. But I think Ben White's just got to be stronger, really, to be honest, in his defensive duty there. But yeah, overall, I think Arsenal played really well. And I'll go to a status that I put out earlier on Facebook saying, I'm not expecting anything from the game. Would be nice to be pleasantly surprised. But on the back of the last 3 defeats, I wasn't very hopeful. But on the back of that first half performance, my optimism's rising again. I think that Arsenal played very, very well in that first half.
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic, Maxim. Fantastic stuff from Arsenal, as you rightly mentioned. During that, in some respect, defending as well. We'll fetch Jack into the conversation in a minute or so. I'm match commentator this evening. But, man, just looking at some of the good movements from Arsenal, good little interchanges between Saka, Odegaard, and the front three in Odegaard, Smith Rowe, and Nketiah. Saka getting involved as well. Arsenal seem to be matching up similar to Chelsea, whereas Chelsea are going a 3-4-1-2. Arsenal are mainly going a 3-4-2-1. So having 2 attacking midfielders, which I think is working to Arsenal's advantage, because the back 3, back 5 of Chelsea can't always pick up Nketiah, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, and Saka all at the same time. So there's always going to be one of them free, and there's free for likes of Elneny, Xhaka to get forward if they want to have that extra run into the penalty area from the defensive midfield role. We'll fetch Xhaka in a second, but Matt, what have you made to the formation and how Arsenal set up? Because at the start you said you wasn't sure I was going to set up when we were speaking off air. As soon as the teams came out, he's looking more like a 3-4-2-1 for Arsenal rather than 3-4-3. What have you made to the formation from Arteta this evening, Mike?
I think in large portions it's actually worked really well. I think, I mentioned obviously Smith Rowe playing a really big part. I thought Saka's played well. I think Granit Xhaka, yes, he turned his back for the first goal, but I think other than that, he's done pretty well as well. I think Elneny's done everything he really needed to do. I think the one player that needs to improve for me in the second half is Martin Odegaard. I think the game's passing him by a little bit. So, he needs to get a bit more of a foothold on the game and try and make things tick a little bit more, or potentially be the one that's replaced. And to be honest, this game's there for the taking. And, this Chelsea side, the first goal, they made a defensive mistake to set up Nketiah, obviously, for the first goal there. And I think Arsenal can really take this game to Chelsea now. And, as much as I don't want to lose the game, and a point's a great point, I think the opportunity is actually there to win it. So if we, potentially were to stick with the back 4 as it is now, then the holding midfielders of Elneny and Xhaka, and potentially maybe even get like a Gabriel Martinelli on or an Alex Lacazette on and go 2 up top, then we've got even more of an opportunity there to basically get at Chelsea in the second half and give them something more to worry about. That's why I'd go with Gabriel Martinelli personally, probably in place of Martin Odegaard, who I think is the one player who was a little bit of a bystander for Arsenal in that first half.
Yes, and Jack, we'll just fetch you in there on that point there about Martin Odegaard, a bit of a bystander in according to what Mike thinks from a watching perspective. You're watching this game, commentating on this game for us. You've seen a lot of your mates Martin Odegaard this evening for Arsenal. Would you agree you probably would take Odegaard off for trying someone like Martinelli or Lacazette and go possibly two up top for if you were in Arteta's shoes at the break?
I would agree that out of the attacking players for Arsenal, Odegaard has been the weakest. Saka has been excellent on the right hand side. Smith Rowe and Keita obviously got the goals. So you look at it in that sense, you would definitely say if they're going to take anybody out of that attack, then you would take out Odegaard. And they do have the options on the bench as well. They have the option to change it up a little bit and get Lacazette involved. I think we will see Lacazette in this game. I think we'll see Martinelli involved in this game as well as the game does go on, depending on how it is going at that point. Because at this moment in time, it does look like we're going to have again another end-to-end attacking half for both sides. But just as easily in these situations can both teams tire and go away from trying to push towards getting the goals and maybe even thinking it for both of them that they'll settle with what they've got. I mean, Chelsea haven't been at their best today, and they might start thinking maybe it is the best thing to just look and consolidate the two each. And Arsenal went into this game not expecting, in all honesty, that they were going to be in this position even at half time. So from their perspective, they might look at it and go, well, we need to consolidate. A point is good in this situation. I would say, however, Arsenal have definitely been the stronger of the two teams in a sense where they've had less of the ball, but they've done more with it. They've been better with their chances. The counter-attack for the second goal was absolutely excellent. And I think just a lapse in concentration and defence both times is what's really the reason why they're 2 down at the moment. I definitely think Arsenal have done better, but this game, it could go either way at the moment.
Yes, absolutely, Jack. We'll just bring my backing quickly. And Mike, obviously early on before the game, you said you weren't expecting anything from it. If we've been 2-2 at half time, and I'm just seeing on my monitors here, it looks like Chelsea are going to be making a substitution and fetching a defensive minded player on in Thiago Silva. Do you think Chelsea is happy for this point on? Do you think Arsenal can get all three looking at with this substitution in mind coming on for Chelsea?
I think, as I said to you just a minute ago, when you asked me a similar kind of question, or a question just a minute ago, I think that the game is there for Arsenal to potentially go on and win it. Yes, we've got to be careful at the back because Chelsea do have so many threats, with the likes of Werner and Lukaku and the likes of Mason Mount and players that can come off the bench like Kai Havertz and Pulisic, etc. as well, who I think, at least one of those will come on in the second half. In my opinion, maybe it might just be one of them now because of this sub as well. It might end up being where only one of them gets used rather than the two. Although they still have two subs available that they can use. So potentially you might see both of them. And Arsenal have got to be wary of them. But as I said, I'm a bit more optimistic now than I was at the start of the game. And I think Arsenal have played some good stuff so far. So pleasantly surprised, and if we can, at least stay in the game, if we can keep it at 2-2, then we might be able to nick it. But coming away from Stamford Bridge, even with a point, is actually a very, very good result and something that before the game I didn't expect us to be in this position or to be getting. So a point is by no means a bad point at all. But I fancy us to get all three if we can take our chances as. To be fair, Smith Rowe should have been doing, and we should actually be 3-2 up right now anyway. So if we can capitalise on a few errors from Chelsea, then you never know. The game's there to be won, so potential.
Yes, and with the second half about to go underway, just briefly, just to say that it's half time in the game at the Etihad between Manchester City and Brighton. It remains goalless there, but with the players back out ready for the second half, it's time for me to hand back over to you, match commentator Jack Heston. You'll hear again from myself and Mike at the end of the game. Jack.
Thank you very much once again, Russ, and we are starting the second half here at Stamford Bridge, live on the commentary hub. Andreas Christensen is off for Chelsea. Thiago Silva, the veteran centre-half, is on. Chelsea have just kicked off the second half now attacking the right-hand side, away from the Arsenal support. Malang Sarr with the ball, tries to play it long, and how Will that change the dynamic? Perhaps a more sound centre half than Christensen, who was looking nervous in the first half. But Chelsea have the ball at the moment. It's Werner. He plays it across the face of goal into the side netting. Actually attempts a tight angled shot there, Timo Werner, hitting the side netting, and an early opportunity perhaps for Chelsea, trying to set the tone for the second half. Definitely a second half where we want to see some more goals. Both teams might feel it's best to consolidate for a draw in this situation. That's definitely not what the neutral wants here. Chelsea on the ball. Edouard Mendy again played back for Chelsea. Chelsea under a bit of pressure there. Marcus Alonso does well to skip past the Arsenal defender. Goes towards Mason Mount. Ramsdale out to meet it again. Bit hesitancy from Ramsdale, but he does get it out for a throw in to Chelsea. And once again, Chelsea starting with the ball, with the most of the possession at the moment, as they have for this game. 60% possession so far in this game. When Arsenal did get the opening goal, 30 minutes in, they actually had 80% possession when Arsenal managed to get that opening goal. And they have the ball at the moment. It's Marcus Alonso to Mason Mount. Mason Mount to Marcus Alonso. Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Cheek plays across to Azpilicueta to Reece James, playing a more central role, playing at that third centre half, with Azpilicueta opting for the more forward role on the right-hand side. Azpilicueta delivers a ball in, goes all the way towards Ben White, who clears it as far as Marcus Alonso, who drives, takes a shot, and it hits away. N'Golo Kante, as far as N'Golo Kante has the ball now, back to Marcus Alonso. Alonso to Malang Sarr, to Thiago Silva. Fresh legs on for Chelsea at the back. They have the ball now, Malang Sarr. Back to Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva again back to Malang Sarr. Chelsea just playing it round the back at the moment. Mason Mount comes deep to offer support. Can't get that forward pass going, but he does find himself with the ball back at his feet. Gets it to N'Golo Kante, looking for that option across the park. Opts for the spot on the left-hand side with Malang Sarr. Plays a forward pass to Mason Mount, who can make things happen. Switches a play across to Reece James. Reece James tries to play a forward pass to Lukaku. Lukaku was already 2 miles away when Reece James made the pass there. Arsenal have the ball. Gabriel tries to play it towards Saka. This time Alonso gets the better of him. And the ball switched towards Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta to Reece James. James all the way back to Thiago Silva. Silva looking for his options. He has Sarr to Werner. Werner dropping deep. Chelsea still just playing it round the back at the moment. Reece James puts Loftus-Cheek under a bit of pressure. He's got Xhaka and Smith Rowe with him, so he plays the ball back to Reece James. Plays it across all the way towards Lukaku. Ramsdale was there to meet. A few balls, long balls towards Lukaku today. Struggling to find him at the moment. The big Belgian striker. And Arsenal have the ball at the moment. Granit Xhaka to Mohamed Elneny. Elneny to Nketiah. Nketiah to Tavares. Arsenal looking a bit more purposeful in attack, as it has shown in this game. They have had less of the ball. Odegaard now. Odegaard looking for a bit more of a lively second half to Xhaka. Xhaka to Elneny. Xhaka and Elneny really dominated the midfield play for Arsenal, and everything is going right for them at the moment. And it's Elneny on the ball. He finds a space for the shot, and it's well intercepted by Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek to Werner. Finds it to Lukaku. Back to Werner. Tries to bust the pace past Ben White, but Ben White is there to intercept the play. Arsenal have the ball again. Could have been a dangerous attack. Well dealt with by Arsenal. Mohamed Elneny now. Elneny towards Bukayo Saka to Odegaard. Odegaard back to Ben White. Holding forward to Xhaka. Xhaka to Emile Smith Rowe on the left-hand side. He's got Gabriel in support. Gabriel's going to drive forward with the ball towards Elneny. And Elneny quick pass to Nketiah. Thiago Silva there this time to get the ball and get Chelsea on the attack moving. It's Lukaku on the right-hand side, gets it through Gabriel's legs. Werner's there to take the loose ball, and Werner's pass towards Lukaku, not good enough. Ramsdale there. Great little bit of play from Lukaku. Werner there to support him, as he almost did lose the ball. Get Lukaku in the right position for the attack, but Xhaka is there to shield the ball towards Aaron Ramsdale. Ramsdale on the ball now. A short pass across the park towards Emile Smith-Rowe. Gets the play going towards Tavares. Tavares under pressure with Azpilicueta. Plays it back to Xhaka. Xhaka switches the play to Odegaard. That's a poor touch from Odegaard. Alonso's there to pick it up. Shields himself from Saka and wins a foul to Chelsea on the left-hand side. Romelu Lukaku, fewest touches this match with just 18. Struggling to get into the game at the moment. As I said, it's not necessarily all him. The service towards him has been particularly poor. Some poor passes and long balls towards him. Arsenal have the ball at the moment. Odegaard. Odegaard to Saka, back to Odegaard, to Xhaka. Xhaka, as he found some space, he gets the ball to Emile Smith-Rowe, who tries to leave it to Bukayo Saka. Edouard Mendy with the ball now. Mendy to Marcos Alonso. To Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Apologies for that. Sarr has the ball now. Malang Sarr to Thiago Silva. Silva to Reece James. James to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Back to Reece James. Back to Thiago Silva. Silva to Azpilicueta. The ball was played out for a Arsenal throw-in. And again, a tight half so far, struggling to find who has had the better start this second half. Arsenal have the throw in now. It's towards Emile Smith-Rowe. Smith-Rowe towards Saka. Saka back to Xhaka. Xhaka, Ben White on the ball now, looking for his options in the box. He gives it back to Saka. Tries to take on Marcos Alonso. Alonso back to Xhaka. Xhaka to Mohamed Elneny. Elneny to Smith-Rowe on the left-hand side. Smith-Rowe cuts it across towards Saka. Alonso is there to deal with him. Saka struggling so far, 8 minutes into the second half, to find any real space. Marcos Alonso appearing to get the better of him so far, but he has space now away in the middle of the park. He tries to get possession of the ball, but Ruben Loftus-Cheek is there, and Odegaard comes in behind him. Great tackle, launches Arsenal into an attack. At the moment, it's Emile Smith-Rowe, plays it across to Martin Odegaard. Odegaard to Nketiah. Nketiah down in the box. Play goes on. Arsenal appeal for a penalty there. Thiago Silva potentially pushing Nketiah in the back is what Arsenal were protesting for. Almost clips his heel even as both attempt to go for the ball. It's going to be a corner to Arsenal. The first corner of the game so far. About to be taken. It's whipped in. And it's a foul in the box. Referee has adjourned that the Arsenal player Gabriel had fouled N'Golo Kante. Or potentially a retake. The referee potentially, yep, he had actually stopped the play before the corner to tell off a couple of players for some pushing in the box, as what can happen. Saka to take the corner now. This time a redo, getting a second opportunity at this. And Again, some pushing in the box. Reece James holding on to Ben White there. The ball plays in, and Lukaku is there to clear. Good defending from Romelu Lukaku in the box from the corner. And don't forget, you can follow the Commentary Hub on Twitter. Twitter handle is at Commentary Live 1. Chelsea have the ball. We are 55 minutes played here. Chelsea 2. Arsenal 2. See it at Stamford Bridge. Of course, alternative commentary live on the Commentary Hub. It's Sarr on the ball. Kante's there in support. Line Sarr all the way back to Edouard Mendy. Mendy has Thiago Silva in support. Thiago Silva tries to play the ball long, again towards Lukaku. This one does meet Lukaku to Werner. Werner to Azpilicueta. The pass to Azpilicueta was almost too much, but Azpilicueta was able to get there. Reece James now. Back towards Thiago Silva. Silva to Malang Sarr. Malang Sarr to Marcos Alonso. Back to Malang Sarr. Thiago Silva. And Chelsea just playing the ball across the back line at the moment. That's a slack pass from Azpilicueta to Tavares. Gets the ball towards Nketiah. Nketiah still managed to get the ball and a scramble in the box. It's a goal. Nketiah does it again. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 3, 11 minutes into the second half. And some terrible defending from Chelsea there. You really have to say has gifted Nketiah the goal. Fair play to Eddie Nketiah. He keeps pushing at it. He keeps the pressure up on the Chelsea defence. And that's what leads to the goal for Arsenal. They are 3 goals to 2 up here at Stamford Bridge. And on the cusp potentially of a massive win. His second Premier League goal of the season. So many questions of him starting up front for Arsenal. And again, poor slack play from Chelsea. Azpilicueta gives the ball straight towards Tavares. Tavares to Nketiah. Thiago Silva deals with the ball towards Malang Sarr. Malang Sarr can't get possession of the ball. Eddie Nketiah just keeps pushing and pushing towards it. Never gives up on the ball. And he finds it gifted to him at his feet. And Kante tries to get involved and get the ball from Nketiah as well. But Nketiah just finds the space to put the shot towards Edouard Mendy's near post. And Chelsea again find themselves a goal down. And will Chelsea be able to answer the question now, as they have done so far in this game? And it is, as I said, it's his first. His 2 Premier League goals this season have now came in the derby. What a way to get your first Premier League goals for Arsenal against Chelsea. Chelsea looking to respond quickly here. It's Werner. Werner tries to play the ball across. Lukaku was already away from it. The ball played into the box. So much space lying there for so long. Nobody can get there. And Arsenal are able to deal with it. Chelsea trying to push forward again here. Thiago Silva. Silva to Reece James. Reece James to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta back to Reece James now. Back to Azpilicueta. Back to Loftus-Cheek. Chelsea, maybe perhaps a sense of urgency to them now to at least try and get the draw in this game. They have been chasing it all game, Chelsea. And they're not going in the right direction at the moment, all the way back to Edouard Mendy, who plays it forward. Gabriel is there to meet it. He's had an impressive game today, and the ball's played towards Eddie Nketiah. It's given as an offside. And yes, Commentary Hubs would like to thank our official streaming partner for the season, Melon. Visit their website at www.melonapp.com. Chelsea have the ball once again, the back line at the moment. They need to try and get the ball forward now to get another potential equaliser. Scored the first equaliser within 4 minutes today, and the second within 5. Arsenal again able to deal with the pressure. Chelsea almost resorting to long ball, but good options coming on for Chelsea at the moment. It's Romelu Lukaku, perhaps Chelsea's, as I said, the least touches on the ball. Romelu Lukaku struggled to really get into the game. He's the one coming off. Kai Havertz is the man coming on. Kai Havertz, a promising player for Chelsea. had a particularly good season. He 7 goals and 2 assists so far this season. He'll be looking to potentially get his 8th in this game. That's what he's on for. Chelsea on the ball now. Malang Sarr to Marcos Alonso. And again, just a bit more urgency about Chelsea's play here. You'd like to think that they would try and be a bit more urgent on the ball now that they find themselves once again down here. And Kante on the ball tries to flick it back towards Werner. Werner can't seem to get there. However, the ball is cleared for a Chelsea throw-in and a difficult position for Arsenal potentially to defend here. Marcos Alonso is going to look for his options short. He's got Kante in support. Back to Alonso. To Kai Havertz on the left-hand side. He breaks a bit of space, gets the ball into Werner. Werner to Marcos Alonso, who tries for the shot, deflected. Chelsea still have the ball at the moment. It goes as far as Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Cheek to Thiago Silva, plays the ball across to Kai Havertz. Okay, Kai Havertz causing problems already. And it's tries to play 1-2 with Marcos Alonso. Ball out for a Chelsea corner. And Kai Havertz almost with an instant impact there, getting the play moving for Chelsea. It's going to be a corner to Chelsea now. Mason Mount to take. Mount, another great corner in, and it fizzles across the face of goal. Nobody there to meet it. Marcos Alonso meets it at the back post, gets to Reece James. Reece James cross into the box, deflected. Back to Alonso then. Malang Sarr, further play back for Chelsea. Most players still up in the attack. Reece James to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Malang Sarr to Timo Kai Havertz, plays it all the way across, and it's straight into the grateful arms of Aaron Ramsdale. Marcos Alonso even with that attempt across the face of goal. And Thiago Silva there just not quick enough from that corner to be able to get to the header. And then missing that, takes it all the way across the face of goal. Good opportunity there for Chelsea to make it 3-3. And Malang Sarr's clearance almost hits off Eddie Nketiah. He's able to recover. Gets the ball back to Edouard Mendy. Ball plays up towards Reece James. He wins it, but it's out for a Arsenal throw. Mikel Arteta. Well, after the run that Arsenal have been on, potentially might not be shocked, but definitely potentially didn't expect to be in the position that they're in at the moment here at Stamford Bridge against third in the Premier League. Arsenal, of course, are only a couple of places behind them in fifth. Chelsea on the ball at the moment. N'Golo Kante, well tackled by Odegaard, only as far as Marcos Alonso, who gets play going again to Kante. Kante to Werner, back to Kante. Marcos Alonso on the left-hand side. Little Werner, who supports him on the left. And Werner's pass across. Ben White brings him to the ground. Referee waves play on. Chelsea do play on. Thiago Silva. Silva looking for his forward options, but he opts for Azpilicueta on the side. Azpilicueta to Ruben Loftus-Cheek under a bit of pressure. Manages to get the ball to Havertz, who's dropped deep. Havertz to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Ruben Loftus-Cheek to Thiago Silva. Silva to N'Golo Kante now. Kante back to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Plays back to Malang Sarr. Play on the left-hand side now. Mason Mount. Again, looking for that cross in the box, but he opts for the pass across to Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who plays it across to Reece James. Reece James on the other side now. Plays it in to the box. Ramsdale struggles to get there. Arsenal trying to clear the ball at the moment. It's with Ben White, and he gets the clearance away. And it was a botched effort to get to the ball from Aaron Ramsdale that almost cost Arsenal dearly there, but they're on the counter-attack at the moment. And it's a foul given against Chelsea. Kante trying to break up a potentially dangerous counter-attack there. Malang Sarr even. And again, another look at that dangerous effort, dangerous pass across the face of goal from Reece James. A difficult one for Aaron Ramsdale to get to. And the deflection, the rebound almost then falls gratefully to Alonso, but the Arsenal players were there to defend and get that cleared. And Arsenal on the ball at the moment. It's Nketiah. Nketiah in the box towards Saka. Shot from Odegaard from distance. It's a free kick to Arsenal. And looking at the other scores then across the Premier League, Everton find themselves still a goal down at home to Leicester. Newcastle up 1-0. Crystal Palace. Manchester City. Brighton. 53 minutes in. It's still nothing each, and what that could mean in the title race if Manchester City drop points this evening. Still plenty of time for them to potentially get the goal that they need. And in this game, it says 65 minutes played on the commentary hub. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 3. And Chelsea again just playing the ball across the back at the moment. They do have plenty of time to try and get that equaliser, but they might need to be wary of any potential counter-attack here as they try and push numbers forward. They're still playing it across the back at the moment. Thiago Silva to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta to Mason Mount. Mount to Reece James. Pass just away from him, but he manages to get there. Reece James now up against Tavares. Plays it to Azpilicueta, who's there in support towards Werner. Werner cuts inside, takes a left foot shot. Valiant effort from Timo Werner. Gets the curl on the ball, gets the effort away, but it's just wide to the right-hand side of Aaron Ramsdale. Wasn't going to be troubling him, but a good effort nonetheless. And the direction that Chelsea really need to be going in at the moment. Almost found themselves the equaliser there. That shot from Marcos Alonso from the cross across the face of goal through Reece James. And once again, Chelsea need to try and find something in them here to try and get the goal. Arsenal looking very good for the lead at the moment, 3-2. As they have looked, they keep on getting the goals even after Chelsea managed to equalise both times. Chelsea on the ball now. Reece James. James under a lot of pressure here. Manages to sprint forward. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is there in support. Odegaard, well tackled. Stops any potential attack there. As the ball's played back to Thiago Silva. Silva now to Azpilicueta. And score update coming in. Big goal in the Premier League title race. Manchester City are now 1-0 up. And it's Mahrez who managed to get the goal. And that could be an all-important one for Manchester City. As I said, in this game, Chelsea, who are pretty much out of the title race, definitely wouldn't help things in that matter. But looking to try and shore up top four as Martinelli gets ready to come on for Arsenal. They're going to bring on another attacking option here, perhaps to see out the game. Sometimes the best attack is the defence. The best defence is attack even. Thiago Silva on the ball now. Silva to Malang Sarr. Sarr pushes forward towards Azpilicueta to Reece James. Reece James back to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Havertz is on the right-hand side. Tries to play the ball quickly in towards Reece James. And Arsenal now have the ball. It's Saka. Saka plays it across to Emile Smith-Rowe, who has the ball. On the left-hand side, he's got Tavares in support. Tavares skips past Havertz. Elneny there to pick up. Smith-Rowe trying to go for the cross and slips on the surface. Out for a goal kick to Chelsea. We're going to be a dangerous counter-attack. Rather unluckily for Emile Smith-Rowe. Falls to his feet. And yes, 70 minutes now. 20 minutes to go plus added time here. And Arsenal looking good for the win. And it's potentially man of the match performance for Eddie Nketiah. 2 really good goals. The first one, obviously, a great finish. And the second one does well to keep the play going. When it all looked like Chelsea were potentially comfortably dealing with it, he sticks with the play and manages to get himself in the right position for that second goal for himself, third goal of the game. And remember, when the man of the match is awarded, today's man man of the match, player of the match sponsor even on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services. Chelsea on the ball now. Good little bit of play there. Kai Havertz back to Reece James. Reece James to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta to Thiago Silva. Silva towards Malang Sarr. Tries to play it long towards Marcus Alonso up against Bukayo Saka. Been an interesting battle, those two, this game so far. Marcus Alonso and Bukayo Saka on that left-hand side for Chelsea, right-hand side for Arsenal. Ruben Loftus-Cheek on the ball now to Azpilicueta. Plays forward pass to Havertz. Plays a quick ball to Mount. Releases James on the right-hand side. Tries to take on Tavares. He's double marked. So gives the ball to Azpilicueta and a bit more space on the inside. Plays it back to Mason Mount. Mount plays it across. Well dealt with by Arsenal. The clearance goes as far as Thiago Silva at the halfway line. Chelsea cranking up the pressure now potentially. Ruben Loftus-Cheek pass across towards Reece James. Poor pass out for a goal kick. And that really has been the story of the game so far. Chelsea struggling to get into any kind of rhythm in this game. So the first goal coming from a deflection. Second one coming from a lapse in concentration. Leading to Azpilicueta goal. Hakim Ziyech is now warming up, looking ready to come on for Chelsea as well. Both teams looking to ring the changes. And why not follow our Facebook page? The best way to follow the Commentary Hub, go to facebook.com/the Commentary Hub. As Chelsea has the ball at the moment, Malang Sarr pushes forward. Facebook.com/the Commentary Hub for the Facebook page. Ramsdale pushes that forward. Chelsea now have the ball. Ruben Loftus-Cheek in possession. Been an important part of the midfield for Chelsea to keep them in this game so far. Azpilicueta plays a cross ball to Timo Werner even. Timo Werner to Kai Havertz. Havertz, he's got Alonso in the centre for support. Alonso on the ball now, gives it back to Werner on the left-hand side, plays it back towards Kante. Chelsea playing further back now to look for the options, look for the space. Ball switch to play Azpilicueta, back to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Ruben Loftus-Cheek to Reece James. Reece James back to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. There was almost a full pass on to Kai Havertz there. It goes back to Reece James. Another great ball in. Another good clearance there from Mohamed El Neni as far as Gabriel Martinelli even. And his clearance goes towards Thiago Silva. Silva to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Azpilicueta. Back to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Reece James releases Mason Mount. Plays the ball in across. Granit Xhaka is there to meet. He clears that as far as Thiago Silva. Arsenal potentially digging their heels in now. Every man behind the ball. Marcus Alonso plays the ball in. Well defended by Gabriel. And Chelsea just struggling to find any kind of space for an opportunity. Arsenal so far have defended much, much better this second half than they did for the first. They have the ball at the moment. The ball's played across. Tavares is there to meet Reece James. He gets the ball out for a Chelsea throw-in. Deals with that well. That's going to be another substitution for the Arsenal. And it's Emile Smith-Rowe who comes off this time for Arsenal. Another one of the goal scorers today for Cedric. Perhaps looking at seeing out this game. Said 75 minutes played here on the Commentary Hub. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 3. A scoreline that many potentially did not expect before we started today. But football is a funny game, and the ball's played across. Thiago Silva there to meet the clearance. Saka there to meet Silva. It's Bukayo Saka to Martinelli. Edouard Mendy quick to that there as he had to be, as Martinelli was potentially bearing down on that and any potential mistake. Chelsea now launching the counter-attack. Ruben Loftus-Cheek to Reece James on the right-hand side. Back to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Ruben Loftus-Cheek to N'Golo Kante. Kante back to Ruben Loftus-Cheek there. Trying to find a space again. Chelsea. Reece James to Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz back to Reece James. Again, well defended there. Mohamed El Neni there to meet once again. Yet another cross and a good clearance away. Chelsea still, however, have the ball at the moment. It's Mason Mount on the left-hand side. To N'Golo Kante. Kante to Thiago Silva. Silva to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Back to Reece James. Back to Azpilicueta. To Malang Sarr. To Marcus Alonso, who plays the ball across to Cesar Azpilicueta. Chelsea just looking for the breakthrough, or that bit of luck again, once again. Mason Mount on the ball at the moment. Gets the ball towards Reece James, gets the ball back to Reece James, to Azpilicueta. Looks for that forward pass to Mason Mount. Again, well dealt with by Arsenal. Gabriel's clearance cannons off of Xhaka for a throw-in in the attacking third for Chelsea. Reece James to take, back to Azpilicueta, all the way back to Thiago Silva. Last 10 minutes of this game, 80% possession Chelsea. Arsenal really digging their heels in here to try and get the result. N'Golo Kante on the ball now. Getting for his options, back to Sarr. Sarr to Thiago Silva. Silva to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta to Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz tries to cut inside. Looked a bit dangerous when he came on, but he's struggling to try and get back into this game since then. Kai Havertz, he's on the ball right now on the right-hand side. He's double marked at the moment with Saka and Gabriel. Again, good defending. See that out for a Chelsea throw-in. Azpilicueta to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Ruben Loftus-Cheek to Thiago Silva. Silva to Malang Sarr. Sarr to Kante. Back to Sarr. He's pushing forward a bit. He's looking for that long ball where Reece James has a lot of space on the right and he cannons a cross in. There's a low drill cross. Yeah, Xhaka is there to meet. Saka is there to clear. Again, only as far as a Chelsea man. Azpilicueta to Thiago Silva. Chelsea are going to go again here. It's all Chelsea at the moment, just trying to push for that equaliser. And the danger now is for Arsenal is if Chelsea do get that equaliser with 13 minutes to go, what could that do for the momentum of the game if they were to manage that? As they have done twice before this game, Chelsea on the ball at the moment. Malang Sarr to Timo Werner. Tries to play cross into the box, a pass into the box. Goes all the way straight to Aaron Ramsdale. And Arsenal, Aaron Ramsdale trying to push his players forward now, as he's going to play this one long. Chelsea running out of time here with 12 minutes to go. Arsenal, after poor run of form, on the cusp of a potentially great victory. 12 minutes to go here. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 3 here at Stamford Bridge in the London derby. Marcus Alonso now. Alonso to Thiago Silva to Malang Sarr. Malang Sarr towards Seedrich for Arsenal, and he breaks through to El Neni, who plays the ball on the shoulder to Gabriel Martinelli. He's bent down, goes at a tight angle. He finds Saka in the box. Saka waiting for the ball, slips as he's about to get to the ball. And again, the field of play proving a bit of an issue for Arsenal now. That's twice an Arsenal player has slipped in the box in this second half, attacking that side closest to the away fans here at Stamford Bridge. Thiago Silva now to Cesar Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta back to Thiago Silva. And again, big goal in the title race. Manchester City now 2-0 up, potentially out of sight. 66 minutes in, and it's Phil Foden with the goal for Manchester City against Brighton and Hove Albion. And that could be a potentially big game as we are closing in on the final few games of the season. Arsenal on the ball now. Granit Xhaka tries to push forward. It's good pressure from Chelsea there. Kai Havertz and Marcus Alonso forcing the ball out for a throw in. A substitution then for Chelsea. They're going to try and push for that goal. Marcos Alonso, he's worked hard today on that left-hand side, trying to keep up with the pace and the youth of Bukayo Saka. Hakim Ziyech on now, a man who, well, as we've seen, not too often at Chelsea compared to Ajax, the magic that he has at his feet and the ability he can really push to try and get Chelsea back into this game and get the equaliser with 10 minutes to go here. That's a foul to Arsenal. And if Arsenal do win, then they go ahead of Chelsea in the all-time Premier League table. Both were locked on 2,126 points before the game today. Arsenal, if they do win, will be on 2,129 points. But Chelsea do have a game in hand. Arsenal on the ball at the moment. Gabriel to Holding. Back to Gabriel. Plays the ball across. That's a great long pass towards... And he's in the back of the... He gets the ball across. Oh, and it's just away. But Tavares is there, and that's a weak shot from Tavares. A great opportunity from Cedric there. The ball played across. Great pass from Gabriel. Malang Sarr just not got the pace to meet it. Cedric does really well to get the pass there and tries to play it across. And he's just too early for Bukayo Saka to get on the end of that. The ball goes all the way across towards Tavares, and Tavares hits it out for a goal kick. And that's Cedric's 150th Premier League appearance today. Potentially unlucky not to get himself an assist there. See out the game for Arsenal. 82 minutes now. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 3. What could potentially be a big, big win for Arsenal going into the top 4 race as the season draws to a close. Before this game, they found themselves 3 points behind Spurs. Levelling points currently with Manchester United, but they have played 2 games less. Of course, West Ham, who are in the title race as well. They're 2 points behind them before this game, but they have played 2 games more. Chelsea on the ball now. Hakim Ziyech. Ziyech now tries to play a forward pass, well defended by Xhaka. He's had a great game today. Elneny, also another player who's been important for Arsenal, on the ball now towards Tavares. Long ball. Elneny to Mason Mount. 50-50 there. Goes in Arsenal's favour. It's a foul. Appeared to be Cedric and Mason Mount going in for that one. And and actually looking in that replay again, Mason Mount gets his studs right into Cedric's ankle, steps down on him there. Not sure how much he meant of that. It looked to be a 50-50 initially. But Mason Mount looks to have went in the book, as he has his third booking of the season. And the other scores in the Premier League, of course, Everton still a goal behind at home at Goodison Park to Leicester. Newcastle at St James's Park still 1-0 up against Crystal Palace. 5 minutes to go in both of those games. Of course, 80 minutes to go. Man City are still winning 2-0 at Brighton. Arsenal free kick. Taking shot on the right-hand side. Odegaard's had a quiet second half. Dispossessed by Kante. And shot taken there. Well wide. Once again, another shot into the second tier. It's Tavares this time. Fires that one from about the halfway line. Speculative effort there. And just looking at the play then with 5 minutes to go. Arsenal looking to try and see out this win. Chelsea struggling for chances in the second half in general. They haven't created too much. A good opportunity from Marcos Alonso from a rebound off of Ramsdale. But really, Chelsea have struggled to get into any kind of rhythm in the second half, and Arsenal going 3-2 up have so far done well at shutting things down. However, there is still 5 minutes to play here. Azpilicueta on the ball. Azpilicueta to Reece James. Reece James to Timo Werner. It's out for a throw-in. Well defended by Rob Holding. Ziyech to take. Back to Werner. Back to Ziyech on the right-hand side for Chelsea. Ruben Loftus-Cheek in there for support. Ziyech's cross in towards the box. And well dealt with again by Arsenal. It's out for a goal kick. And it is getting to a nervous time now for Chelsea to try and get the equaliser, salvage something in this game. That cross from Ziyech just goes over Havertz's head, out for a goal kick. Chelsea staring down the barrel of, I said, a third loss at home. 3-1 to Real Madrid, 4-1 to Brentford, of course. And potentially 3-2 here, but not if Timo Werner has anything to say about it. He's on the left-hand side, plays it across. Again, great defending to deny Havertz what would have been a tap-in from Rob Holding. Werner, with all the pace on the left-hand side, gets the ball across. Kai Havertz is there in the middle, but Rob Holding is there to meet Chelsea. We're going to take the corner now. Mason Mount. Mount to deliver. Straight to Ramsdale, who punches it out towards the right-hand side for Chelsea, where Ziyech is to take the throw. And Ramsdale struggling with his handling. It's a couple of times now he's had to punch the ball away. And funnily enough, an Arsenal player is now down with cramp. Rob Holding down with cramp at the moment. Interesting how it's never the team that is losing that gets cramp. Rob Holding's up now. The play's got to go on. Chelsea have the throw-in. Hakim Ziyech to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta to Thiago Silva. Silva to Malang Sarr. Sarr looking for his options. He's found Timo Werner. Werner advances forward. Skips past two Arsenal players. Gets it to Mason Mount, who's in the box. Who gets past towards Werner. Oh, and it's deflected off of Werner. Chelsea have the ball again, however. N'Golo Kante. Kante to Azpilicueta. To Reece James. Reece James looking for the ball across the face of goal. Gets it to the face of the park even. Sarr plays it all the way towards Ziyech, and it's out for a goal kick to Arsenal. Coming into the 89th minute now of the game. Live commentary on the commentary, home of the alternative commentary on the commentary hub. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 3. What could be a massive, massive win for Arsenal and their ambition for top 4. And what will level things in terms of how these two have fared this season. Of course, the game back in August when things were looking much, much more bleak for Arsenal. Chelsea won by 2-0. But it's looking very different now at this point in the season. And Martinelli picks up on a loose ball. Well defended by Thiago Silva. Silva to Odegaard's there to pick it up. To Cedric. Cedric to Martinelli. Plays the ball forward towards Cedric. Is he going to look for the option on the box? Saka potentially there. And some shoving in the box between Saka and what's the ref given there? He's given a penalty. It's a penalty to Arsenal. 89 minutes in. Shoving in the box there between Azpilicueta and Saka. Azpilicueta is furious at Bukayo Saka. It did look as if Saka was potentially getting onto the end of that chance before he did go down on the box. And Azpilicueta is absolutely furious. All the players getting involved now. Just trying to keep them away. This is crazy at the moment. Azpilicueta trying to get towards Saka, and pretty much every player in the park trying to get in between them. 4 minutes added time here, but we're into the 90th minute. We're into added time now. And it is time to, just before this penalty, announce the man of the match today, which I'll be giving to Eddie Nketiah for his 2 goals, his 2 first Premier League goals today. Of course, the match sponsor, the player match on the hub, is sponsored by Commentary Services. And looking at that replay, Azpilicueta does appear to shove Saka in the box. He's grabbing, he's got a hold of him. I don't exactly know what Azpilicueta thinks he's doing there, holding him in that situation when the ball's not even going towards Saka in that situation. And it's going to be Bukayo Saka potentially to get his 10th goal of the season, match the top scorer Emile Smith-Rowe for Arsenal this season with also 10 goals so far. Edouard Mendy staring him down as the penalty is about to be taken here. And what will definitely seal the game for Arsenal. 91 minutes to play. Bukayo Saka to win the game. He's done it! Game, set and match to the Arsenal. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 4. Arsenal win the derby. 2 minutes to go here. A well-placed penalty for Bukayo Saka sees what will be an incredible result away from home for Arsenal. And again, Chelsea, maybe, as Azpilicueta in particular, maybe enraged by that penalty, but it was a silly one to give away. And Bukayo Saka is there for his 10th goal of the season. The Arsenal fans are absolutely loving it here at Stamford Bridge. The Chelsea fans look to be on their way home already. As I said, Chelsea 2, Arsenal 4 here. 92 minutes played. Just about a minute and a half of extra time left. It's a great penalty from Bukayo Saka towards the left-hand side. Edouard Mendy goes the other way. And from there, Bukayo Saka gets the goal in the derby to seal the victory for Arsenal. We'll kick off with just about a minute to play here. Chelsea would really need a minor miracle, a massive miracle even, as Lacazette's about to come on potentially for the last minute of plays on the side of the field here. Chelsea on the ball, a lot more urgent now with Reece James, as Stamford Bridge empties to what is a 3rd straight loss at home for Chelsea, both in the Champions League, 3-1 to Real Madrid, and the Premier League 4-1 to Brentford, and now it looks like 4-2 to Arsenal. Reece James hits the ball forward towards Timo Werner, and Ramsdale gets there gratefully. 25 seconds left to play. That looks to be game over. The Arsenal fans in the corner absolutely loving it. How many of them expected their team, with the form they're in, to go and do what they've done today? And there's a score update, and it's a late goal in the relegation battle. Everton find themselves 1 each against Leicester. Richarlison with the last-minute goal, and what that could mean in the relegation race, as Everton get that last-minute potentially equalising goal in the 95th minute of play. Full-time also at Newcastle. Newcastle 1-0 up against Crystal Palace. We're well into 94 minutes here at Stamford Bridge. Bukayo Saka is going to come off to a standing ovation from the remaining supporters here in Stamford Bridge. They're all in the Arsenal end. And Lacazette is going to come on potentially for the game to end without even a touch on the ball. He is off now. Lacazette is on. See if he can make any kind of impact with probably not even seconds to go. Wouldn't be surprised if Jonathan Moss blows his whistle straight away here as the play continues. We're going into the 95th minute with 4 minutes of added time. Arsenal have the throw in. Azpilicueta got booked as well. Lacazette holding the ball in the corner. Blanks are there to meet. Play continues at the moment. And Gabriel also was booked for that scramble in the box. Jonathan Moss not quite done yet with this game. Not quite putting the Chelsea supporters out their misery. It's been a miserable after evening even for them tonight, watching their team play a lacklustre performance. Definitely not the case for the Arsenal supporters. Odegaard in the corner now. Malang Sarr plays it across. Out for a throw-in. And we are all finished here at Stamford Bridge. Well, what a game of football. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 4. A scoreline that very few would have predicted before the game. A massive win for Arsenal in the battle for the top 4. And the ramifications that could have with this victory today, not only for Arsenal in terms of the standing in the league table, but also just in terms of momentum of going to Stamford Bridge today and getting a massive 3 points. Of course, after a breathtaking first half of 4 goals, we see the 1 goal in the second half, and what was a potentially, well, a defensive masterclass really from Arsenal in that second half. They dug their heels in deep, and then late into the game, Azpilicueta gave away a silly foul in the box to give Saka his goal, his 10th goal of the season, and seal proceedings. It is full time here. Thank you for listening to my commentary here on the Commentary Hub. It is full time. It's Chelsea 2, Arsenal 4, and back to you, Russ.
Thank you very much there, Jack. We'll be back. We'll hopefully get Mike on to get his thoughts on what has been a momentous day for Arsenal. Who would have thought that to the start of play then? Arsenal coming to Stamford Bridge and beating Chelsea by 4 goals to 2 in the Premier League this evening. Leicester City have thrown away all 3 points in their game at Goodison Park. A 92nd minute equaliser for Everton from Richarlison has made it 1-1 at full time. Newcastle 1, Crystal Palace 0, another full time scoring the 7:45 kickoffs. And Manchester City are 3-0 up against Brighton and Hove Albion. Bernardo Silva on 82 minutes with the goal. There will be finishing just after 10 o'clock this evening. We'll get the thoughts, hopefully, shortly of Mike Orneman of what has been a momentous day, as I mentioned, for Arsenal beating Chelsea by 4 goals to 2. Should have a few more. Should hopefully stay with you till we get the full-time scores from the other matches that kicked off at 8 o'clock, which are taking place this evening. We've got Mike with us, and we'll get to Mike in just a second or so. What a magnificent win for Arsenal. Eddie Nketiah is our player of the match this evening. Before we get to Mike Orneman, as we're going to let Jack leave us very, very shortly. Just talk to us for 5 minutes, maybe just before we do let you go, and then get Mike in on what has been a fantastic performance from Arsenal this evening. The sort of play no one predicted Arsenal to get a win at Chelsea, let alone score 4 goals. They have come to Stamford Bridge and they have done that this evening. It's finished Chelsea 2, Arsenal 4 here. And just explain to Mike and to the listeners out there what it was about Eddie Nketiah's performance this evening that you liked to give him player of the match. Obviously, he got the 2 goals in the win for Arsenal, but what else should I have for you from Eddie Nketiah's performance tonight? And then what's your overall thoughts on Arsenal's game this evening by the Gunners to move level on points with Tottenham in the race for 4th spot? Jack.
Well, Mike will be absolutely buzzing after that, and you can definitely see why he will be, because that was brilliant. Eddie Nketiah, I think because he delivered today in a game, in a derby, when a player under that kind of pressure didn't play particularly well the weekend before in that loss to Southampton. He starts up front again. There's some question marks about him starting up front again, and he goes and delivers 2 goals in the derby, 2 goals in his first Premier League game of the season, and what could potentially be Arsenal's biggest points of the season. Said for both goals, really, he's just pressing, he's just pushing forward to try and get the goal, and it's exactly what he gets in both situations. I mean, the second goal, he just doesn't give up on it. Some players would just stop playing at that point if they think that it's gone away from them, but he just keeps pushing at it, and that's how he gets himself into that position to get the second goal of the game. He's man of the match for me because of that reason. He stepped up for Arsenal today. He was a hero for Arsenal today. I mean, there was other players you could pick out just as easily. Emile Smith-Rowe was brilliant. Bukayo Saka was brilliant. Xhaka and Elneny, both absolutely crucial for Arsenal in the midfield. They dominated the midfield, particularly in the second half, in terms of how they had the ball, in terms of how they reacted to Chelsea. They didn't let Chelsea have a lot of space on the ball in the midfield. And bar a little lapse in concentration in the first half with Xhaka, both of them were immaculate. But Eddie Nketiah, the guy with the 2 goals, the guy coming in with a bit of a question mark on him, gets 2 goals, 2 first Premier League goals of the season, and that's exactly why. In terms of, in general for Arsenal, first half, I thought they were the better team, despite stats showing Chelsea had a lot more of the ball. I thought they were a bit more clinical in the attack. The counter-attack for the second goal was outstanding. And then in the second half, defensively, absolutely brilliant. Chelsea just couldn't seem to get a grip in the second half, despite having so much of the ball, so much of possession, just kept playing the ball back, tried to keep playing the ball from the sides, played through the wing. It just didn't work for them. Holding at centre mid in particular was absolutely tremendous for them in that second half. And that really is the key to how they got the win today. Great attacking in the first half and a great defensive performance in the second half for Arsenal.
Yes, and just one more thing before we do let you go this evening. Fantastic coverage from you as always, I must add. But for Chelsea now, where do Chelsea go from here? They've lost tonight 4-2 to Arsenal. Obviously, if I ask some people that question, they'll say they'll go to the next fixture, which is against West Ham United on Sunday at 2:00, which is obviously one of the answers. But the answer I'm looking for is where they'll go from this kind of performance. Where do you expect them to be? What do you expect their reaction to be in that game later this week? Later this week, and from Thomas Tuchel and from his Chelsea teammate.
Well, it needs to be something, doesn't it? And it doesn't get much harder at the moment after a game like that to go and then play West Ham how they're playing at the moment, trying to push for that top 4 spot. Again, another similar situation to tonight. A team who are trying to win important games to get them that Champions League spot, and essentially a team that wanted it more as a result of that. For Chelsea this season, I think that's where part of the problem has came in. They're in that sort of awkward position in that third place where they're not likely, even if they do drop points for the remainder of the season, to drop out of the top 4. They're not going to be pushing for the title. So what are they really playing for the remainder of the season? Obviously, they've got the FA Cup, and if they were to win that, then that is a great achievement for them. But in the league, really, where do they go? They can't go higher, and really, they're not going to go lower than 4th unless they have a dramatic end to the season. But again, these losses can rack up. Lost today, could potentially lose to West Ham. West Ham, again, a good side, might smell blood in regards to how Arsenal have played against them tonight. And from there, they just need to try and keep their form at a consistent level to try and keep themselves in the top 4. Because this would have been a big win for them tonight if they managed to win and essentially seal that spot. But it just makes it a bit more awkward for them. And I think that's what's happened this evening. Really, Arsenal needed that win more. Chelsea felt probably a bit complacent where they are, as you'd expect them to be in the position they're in. But ultimately, with the season coming to a close, if they keep dropping points like that, and if they can't get the home form in order, as that's 3 straight losses now, then they could potentially be in a bit of trouble and start slipping down the table a bit more coming into the later or the last stage of the season.
Yes, absolutely, Jack. Absolutely. They're three, as you say, three losses in a row at Stamford Bridge. Now losing to Brentford, losing to Real Madrid in the Champions League, and then losing to Arsenal tonight. They did beat Southampton away 6-0. A lot of people were expecting it to be a similar sort of scoreline tonight for Chelsea. And then they beat Crystal Palace in the FA Cup to set up the FA Cup final with Liverpool in May. So there's some big results there. We'll go through some other scores in a moment. But Jack, thank you for your work this evening. We'll let Jack go now. So thank you to you, Jack Essen, for excellent coverage this evening. We'll get our thoughts on Mike Conman. Very, very shockingly delighted and happy Arsenal fan that he is this evening. We'll go through some other scores for you in League or in the evening kickoffs which I've mentioned. Angers 0, PSG 3, Brest 2, Lyon 1, Lens 2, Montpellier 0, Marseille 3, Nantes 2, Strasbourg 2, Rennes 1. The Angers game, the Marseille game, and the Strasbourg game, they're still being played. They're in stoppage time. We'll bring you the confirmed results from that one. In the German DFB Polka, it finished RB Leipzig 2, Union Berlin 1. Union Berlin did take the lead in that game before two second half goals turned it around for RB Leipzig this evening. In the Italian Serie A, as I mentioned earlier, for the latecomers, it finished Udinese 0, Salernitana 1. In Spain's La Liga, it finished Atletico Madrid 0, Granada 0, and Celta Vigo 0, Getafe 2. It is currently Osasuna 1, Real Madrid 2. 64 minutes gone there. David Alaba and Marco Asensio with the goals for Real Madrid. Budimir for Osasuna. And for Real Madrid, Karim Benzema has missed 2 penalties this evening. Full time in the Premier League in the 8 o'clock kickoff, he finished Manchester City 3, Brighton and Hove Albion 0 in the other game this evening. But let's bring on a jubilant and buoyant Arsenal fan and my good friend Mike Onman. And Mike, what a win for Arsenal and what a performance.
We've got Super Mick Arteta. Yeah, I love it, mate. Brilliant performance. First half, we were the better team. Should have been going in at halftime, one goal ahead. Should have been 3-2 up at the break. And then we just carried that on into the second half. Eddie Nketiah, sensational today. Got himself 2 goals, led the line exceptionally well. And then Emil Smith-Rowe obviously got the goal in between the 2 Nketiah goals. And then Bukayo Saka, how lovely was that from a footballing point of view to see Bukayo Saka after the Euros and after all the hate and all the stick he got after missing his penalties in the Euros to, have the confidence to step up once again and to bury that penalty there to make it 4-2. It was just a beautiful moment, not just as an Arsenal fan, but for football in general. When I'm sure, even Chelsea fans, when they look back on that, obviously they'll be disappointed with the performance and losing the game, but they can't take that moment away from Bukayo Saka, and especially after everything that happened in the Euros. It was just so beautiful that he got that minute got that opportunity, right at the last minute there to seal the victory with a penalty as well.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. And you were singing about Mikel Arteta there at the end. And what do you think? He obviously got quite a lot right this evening because of the result and the performance from Arsenal today. But what do you think? Why do you think he got the better of Thomas Tuchel today? Obviously, played players in probably best positions, which made it harder for Chelsea to handle. But what other reasons do you think he got the better over Thomas Tuchel this evening, Mike?
I think he looked at the Brentford game from a few weeks ago and saw how Brentford dominated that Chelsea team, out of possession. Chelsea had a lot of the ball and Brentford were actually very clinical in that game. And it's very similar today. Doing everything that they needed to do without the ball and then kind of pressing on the front foot and getting on the front foot and kind of taking the game to Chelsea in that sense, as Arsenal did with Smith Rowe and Saka and Nketiah today, and Odegaard obviously played a part in that as well. So yeah, I think that you have to give Mikel Arteta credit today. I'm not Mikel Arteta's biggest fan. I was thinking about him there, but that's just sort of spur of the moment because we won, and because literally every Arsenal fan, I'm in an Arsenal group on WhatsApp, and we're literally like everybody's overjoyed now. We've put everything to one side, whether you're back in the process or not. But because right now, this moment just feels so good. It feels like this could be a moment that if we can build on this moment going into Saturday, if we can get something, at Stamford Bridge and do it in the way that we did there, get a very sort of vital 3 points there in our game in hand. If we can take that into Saturday, do the same against Man United, then we're the side who should be favourites to get that fourth spot now. And to do it in that style, it's, I said it to you at half time about my status. I wasn't expecting anything today. I certainly wasn't expecting that, that's for sure.
Yes, and I mentioned that when we had a brief chat with Jack before he left us at the end, fantastic commentary from Jack this evening, and I mentioned it with Jack there, a lot of Arsenal fans and a lot of fans in general, whether you're an Arsenal fan, whether you're a neutral, whether you're a Chelsea fan, wouldn't have expected Arsenal to go to Stamford Bridge, turn up and play the way they did. And obviously, Mike, as you heard Jack's reasons for giving Eddie Nketiah player of the match this evening, if I were to ask you for your player of the match, obviously Jack's gave it to Eddie Nketiah. Can you look beyond? Have you got any qualms with Eddie Nketiah getting it? And who else stood out for you from that Arsenal side this evening?
No qualms with Eddie Nketiah getting it at all. I thought he led the line exceptionally well, got a brace. I suppose the one thing for him, he sat on the substitutes bench there. Arsenal get a penalty and Bukayo Saka puts that one away. That, if he was still on the pitch, that would have been his opportunity for a hat-trick. So, that might be the one thing that he looks back and is a little bit disappointed at. But I thought overall he was fantastic today. He led the line really well, capitalised on the mistakes made by Chelsea, for the first and the third goal, and was just very clinical in that moment, obviously on both occasions. So no, I thought Nketiah led the line really well, played really, really well today. I thought Smith Rowe and Saka played really well. For El Neni and Granit Xhaka actually had a very good games as well. So yeah, I thought Arsenal played really, really well today, and I think that there were moments where Arsenal looked a bit shaky. But to be fair, if you look back on that game, yes, Aaron Ramsdale's picked the ball out of the net twice, but has he actually really made a save in that game? Not really. And have the defence really had to do too much? Not overly as well. So that's, you have to credit Mikel Arteta for that.
Yes, and I think as well, when you look back at the difference of where both teams set up at the start, where Arsenal played a 3-4-2-1 and Chelsea a 3-4-1-2 formation. I think the formation where Arsenal had two behind the lone striker in Eddie Nketiah compared to Chelsea having two up front and just the one behind would probably be the difference as well, because those two behind Eddie Nketiah could switch with Eddie Nketiah to change direction. So one time it could be Odegaard up front and Nketiah out on the right, or Nketiah out on the left with Saka through the middle, or Saka out on the right, Odegaard through the middle and Nketiah on the left. So those two, I think maybe if Chelsea had gone similar up front as well Arsenal, the defence, and interchanged as well as the Dicks, if Chelsea front two, front three, if you include the player playing just behind him, didn't really cause Arsenal that much problems. With just looking back on the first goal for Chelsea, the Timo Werner, he gets a couple of deflections, and then beats Ramsdale at his near post. Ramsdale, when he looks back at that, will think if he didn't get those two deflections, he would have probably saved it. So that's possibly one down. So it could have ended up being 4-1 in the end. But taking off and away from Arsenal's going forward and defensively how you play that. Yes, as you mentioned, Mike, 2 goals conceded by Arsenal tonight, but other than picking the ball out of the air, I don't think they've caused them problems. One bit of problem where you could have said Arsenal got been lucky one was when in the build-up to Smith Rowe's goal where Arsenal played out from the back and almost lost it to Lukaku with Ben White in the build-up to the goal for Smith Rowe, and he almost lost it to Alonso as well. But then with Alonso caught to a field, gives Arsenal that much space on this right-hand side where Saka picked out Odegaard and then he left it, waited for the run of Smith Rowe to come someplace when he gets that ball on the edge of the box and he's opened up like he did for him, would be shooting, but he just waited and then Nketiah stepped over the ball for Smith Rowe running onto it. So you've got to give credit there as well. And that's probably the only time really for me where Chelsea almost caused Arsenal problems, but Arsenal got away with it by over-pressing that from playing out from the back. We'll go through some more scores in a second, but what do you make to that comment there, Matt, what I've just said before we go through some final scores tonight and then wrap up the broadcast?
Yeah, I think that's about right. I think there was a moment in the second half as well where Aaron Ramsdale was caught out on the ball a little bit. But to be honest, I thought there wasn't really too many moments where Chelsea actually gave Arsenal much of a scare. And obviously, you said about the 2 goals there. Obviously, they're 2 avoidable goals. I think Mikel Arteta would be a little bit annoyed at the way that those 2 goals were conceded. Obviously, the first goal, Aaron Ramsdale being beaten at his near post. Obviously, Granit Xhaka turning his back as well. And then the second one, was it a foul on Ben White or not? Obviously, I mentioned at half-time that I thought he was just the player being too strong and outmuscling him. So, to be fair, there's not much in that one. So I think Mikel Arteta will be frustrated at the fact that we've conceded the 2 goals, but I think he'll also be frustrated that we haven't scored 6 as well, because Emil Smith-Rowe's got another goal in the first half, and Nuno Tavares probably should have been scoring 1 in the second. So, to be fair, that's the only frustrations really on Mikel Arteta's part. But I think he's done a really good job tonight as well. And I think that, the frustrations from Chelsea, you could see at the end there, they were boiling over. Azpilicueta having words with the fans and, the fans basically having to go back at him. And you could see on the pitch as well, there was moments where Mason Mount left a few challenges in on Nuno Tavares and I can't remember who else it was as well, on another player there. I can't remember who it was. And also there was a moment where Sarr, who was on a yellow, left one in as well. So you can see the frustrations from Chelsea were boiling over on the pitch and into the stands as well after the game. So it's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back against West Ham and also how Arsenal can follow it up against Manchester United at the weekend. So, really good performance from Arsenal today. Deserve loads and loads of credit. And, we go again Saturday and we'll see what we can do against Man United. But I do think, one thing I think is that obviously Mikel Arteta has got into them after the last 3 games and the 3 losses and losing them in the way that we did, and was like, right, we can't be having these sort of performances if we want to be going for top 4. We've got to put in, massive performances and leave everything out there, which is exactly what Arsenal did today, and Arsenal have to do for the remainder of the season from now on in.
Yes, there's absolutely, man. We'll go through some final scores in a second, but I just want to talk about that second Chelsea goal, as you mentioned. Probably be disappointed with Mikel Arteta in the potential non-foul on Ben White. I agree with you that it was just out-muscled there by Timo Werner and Mason Mount. But one thing which could annoy Arteta as well, Mike, I'm not sure if you notice this, when the ball is played by Alonso into Mason Mount, he then gets the ball back from Timo Werner. I'll just pause my TV. As the ball is about to come in from Timo Werner, from Mason Mount into Azpilicueta, Nuno Tavares, even before that, when Alonso just got possession, Tavares is in front of Azpilicueta at the time when Alonso plays the ball into Mason Mount the first time, and then Tavares just stops. He follows. Azpilicueta moves back, and then as he's running back in, that's when Tavares moves again, and because he stopped the initial that first time, made it hard for him to get back to get in front of Azpilicueta for that goal, to defend from that goal. Moving into some other results now, just to finish off.
Just briefly on that before you go into the other results. That's something that Kieran Tierney doesn't do as well. I think that's because Nuno Tavares hasn't had many games, to be fair, for Arsenal. I think that's a little bit why. As to why that might have occurred. I think his positioning was a little bit off there, but I think that's because he's not really a first team regular at Arsenal. He's kind of in because of Kieran Tierney's injury right now, and that's something that Kieran Tierney wouldn't allow to happen. But I'll let you wrap it up from there. I just wanted to give my thoughts on that one just for a second as well. I think it's because Nuno Tavares, is just a bit less experienced in the game in general than Kieran Tierney, and obviously Kieran Tierney, for Arsenal has been exceptional, and I don't see him doing anything like that. So it's just something that Nuno Tavares has got to work on, I guess, on his own sort of side of things when it comes down to his own positioning.
Yes, and just before I do touch on the results as well, Mike, we've not really spoke about the awarding of that penalty for Arsenal at the end to make it 4-2, and I'm just watching this incident again now. Playing ball down the line to Cedric Suarez. Suarez is just about to pick out Saka, and you can see before the balls even come in that as the balls are wide, I'm just going to pause my TV here. As he's about to cross it in, you can see Azpilicueta just grabbing hold of Saka already and just not letting go of him. So when that ball does come in, it goes behind where Saka would have been. So I don't know how Azpilicueta can complain that was a definite penalty for me there, Mike. Just if I know you probably say it's a definite penalty as well.
Yeah, to be fair, I think.
But if you take your Arsenal glasses off and just look at it from a neutral, I think it was a definite penalty. Looking at it from a neutral, it was a definite penalty, wasn't it, for Arsenal's fourth goal?
Well, first of all, Russ, I've just taken off my glasses, so I can't see. But anyway, going back to the topic at hand with the penalty, I think it's a penalty all day long. I think Bukayo Saka, is in a dangerous position there. He's going to get to the ball before Azpilicueta, and I think that the referee's got absolutely no choice but to give the penalty there, in my opinion. And I think, to be fair, a bit of justice was done anyway, because even if it wasn't a penalty, although it was, if anyone could have any qualms that it wasn't a penalty, I do think that Sarr in particular, for the foul on Cedric, should have been given his second yellow. So, I think that either way, it would have evened it out. But for me, I think Saka's got basically he's beaten his man there and kind of Azpilicueta's wrong side, and all he could do was foul him and kind of tussle with him, and penalty is the correct decision. I'll put my glasses back on, by the way, so I can actually see now.
Yeah, that's fine, Mike. But yes, let's just talk about. Let me just go through to confirm the Ligue 1 results in France in the 8 o'clock kickoffs this evening. Finished Angers 0, Paris Saint-Germain 3, 10-man Paris Saint-Germain 3 as well. Kylian Mbappe, Sergio Ramos and Marquinhos on target as Michu was sent off in the 91st minute. It finished Brest 2, Lyon 1, Lens 2, Montpellier 0, Marseille 3, Nantes 2, 10-man Nantes 2. Nantes were 1-0 up on 26 minutes when Guto scored before Dimitri Payet from a West Ham man equalised from the penalty spot on 39 minutes. Coco then scored on 41 minutes to make it 2-1 to Nantes. Dimitri Payet then scored another penalty on 55 minutes before Ariat then scored in the 75th minute to make it 3-2 to Marseille. Coco was sent off for a second bookable offence in the 93rd minute in that game, and he finished Strasbourg 2, Rennes 1 as well this evening. Just to tell you what the latest is, with 9 minutes to go, check out if you want to find out what the final score is in this game, check out on platforms where you can check out the results from. Osasuna still trail by 2-1 against Real Madrid. As I mentioned, Karim Benzema has missed 2 second-half penalties for Real Madrid. David Alaba and Marco Asensio with the goals for Los Blancos in La Liga. Real Madrid top of the table on 78 points. Atletico Madrid are in second on 61. Barcelona, with 2 games in hand over Atletico and Real Madrid, sit in third on 60 points in the La Liga table. But from myself, from Jack, and from Mike, a very big thank you to you. It's finished in our featured game this evening. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 4.
Can you do that one?
Just your sets.
Can you do that one?
Michael, I was just about to do that. Do not just your sets. Do not check see if your headphones are working properly. It did actually finish Chelsea 2, Arsenal 4. From all of the team here and the commentary hub, good night, guys.